and have that with us. We are here to having this ladies' night because we don't have enough women out here speaking truth, and we want you guys to be involved with us. I know it can be very, very intimidating, but at the same time, there's women here that are willing to embrace you and to help you. So if you guys would like to join or have an open discussion, please come on board. I love that. We have Jenny here, I'm sure. Jenny, want to say hi?
Hey, everybody. So I don't know if anybody's listening just from the YouTube, but there should be a link in the description. I think there generally is. Otherwise, what is it? It's, is it discord.com/gg/flat earth? Or no, what's the address?
I actually don't know the address right now on hand.
Oh.
Is somebody posting that possibly in the live stream chat? They probably do, and hopefully you guys will for us or something. Yeah.
So discord.gg/flat earth.
And you here, hon, or Sassy, you guys want to say hello to?
Hello.
There we go. Hi, Yika.
Hiya. I hope you're all right tonight. Well, for me, it's night.
During the day today. Do we have anybody in here that like to ask any questions about the shape of the earth or what we're standing on? Anyone? Be lovely to talk to anyone about this. No? No questions?
Break out of the firmament.
What about the firmament?
How do I get through it?
Honey, I wish I knew too. If you can figure that out for me, we could talk about that. We could try to get through it. But right now, we can't even reach the firmament. I can't even verify for sure where it's exactly at. There are different statements of where it could possibly be, but at the same time, I've never verified that. You're probably never going to verify that either, because you're focusing on the sky, something you can't reach, will never reach, and no one in your family probably will ever reach, right?
Oh.
But we're talking about we're standing on the ground. That's what's important.
Is it an infinite plane?
Is it an infinite plane? Can you tell me if it's an infinite plane? I don't know if it's an infinite plane.
I don't know.
I've never seen the entire shape of this earth because they will not let us measure this earth completely because we can't explore it.
Much less to say, how do you come up with infinite space?
Yep.
So it's kind of like a two-part, you know what I'm saying? You got to look at both sides of what they say. And it's kind of interesting.
How do you measure infinite space?
Yeah.
It's immeasurable.
It's immeasurable. So how do they measure it and how do they know it's infinite?
They just guess.
Oh, guess. Okay, exactly. Assumptions is exactly what the whole entire globe model is based on. Assumptions, theories, semantics, and philosophy.
It's scientism.
There's absolutely no proof for it. Yep. Pseudoscience.
Yep. Unfortunately.
I'm in here every day. Nobody comes with any information. No proof. I wish somebody would actually come in here and say, hey, I have proof of the globe. Here it is, and it's not a picture that can be altered. I'd really love for someone to do that one day. Just one day. No. Nobody has anything for us.
The thing for me is that there just seems to be so many coincidences that keep happening over, topics about how this is all supposed to work. There's been so many anomalies with the heliocentric model. It doesn't surprise me that it's been years everybody's been talking about it. And, it kind of come up with the same thing, that it's not verifiable.
Exactly.
So, we got a bunch of coincidence theorists walking around. Meanwhile, there's other people putting together the puzzle pieces and like, oh, whoa, this is going on. Everybody look. I mean, so conspiracy does not automatically mean that it's not true.
Correct.
I mean, I think a lot of people misuse the word conspiracy theory. So.
Oh, of course. They don't even understand where the word even comes from. And the CIA is the one that came up with the word in the first place. Yeah, of course there is. Yeah. And they did that on purpose, though. It's just like everything else. They put a stigma on everything so you don't know what is true. You get completely confused what is real and what is not real. But in reality, it shows you. They're not letting you look anymore. Well, actually, you're not trying to look because they've literally got so many chemicals in us, stuff with the food and everything else, and the school system's got them not even problem solving. They're not even looking at the nature of their world. They're not even using their own
Right, like
senses and
fluoride
observing.
in the water. Fluoride in the water. I'm pretty sure I grew up on fluoride in the water.
Oh,
And
of course.
so, yeah, I mean, like you said, people don't question the nature of their reality. They don't. We need to start doing that. Because, I mean, it's so interesting that people are coming to these realizations about what's going on in the world. And everybody's doing it at different times in different ways. And so, so people are in like different stages of cognitive dissonance, and you could be experiencing grief. I mean,
Of course.
so a lot of people react when they talk about the topic of flat Earth, and I don't think people have a real clear, concise idea about what science is really supposed to be. And when they start using words casually, like if or imagine and
Maybe.
thought experiments, and it's just like, come on, man, this is not a fairy tale. This is what we observe and what we can verify.
Well, and they always want to go back to the sky to prove it. And it's like, for me, it was very simple. When you understand that there has to be a curve and you can see 60 miles, it's shot, it's done. But these people want to keep trying to find a different answer,
Well, what I found really interesting, and this is what brought me to Flat Earth, is that it was from Dave Murphy, and his claim is that there's no GPS flight tracking in the Southern Hemisphere. And so I found that very odd in the state of technology that we're supposed to have, why that is not possible. And, and then you have the famous Asia flight to, what was it, supposed to be in California, and they made the emergency stop in Alaska. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, that's pretty bizarre considering you're going out of your way. But in the flat Earth idea of what we think is a map, it's like it's like on the way. And sorry, I'm not trying to ramble or anything. I'm actually at a park, so you guys don't have my undivided attention. I'm so sorry. But Stacy, you know which one I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
absolutely.
So that's what brought me into
I
the
didn't
topic.
see you. I didn't mean to not introduce you or anyone else. I wasn't seeing the chat. Becky's here. So does
That's
here.
okay.
Girl.
Hey guys.
Hi guy. Hi.
Jump on in.
How you doing today? We got a couple of people in here. Let's see here. Wait a minute. What's going on? We got on the fence. Jay Layler. Come on, Jay. How are you doing today? Jordan. You said all in a DM to me, but you can't talk to me on a live stream. I'm right here.
I'm all right.
Okay, how you doing, Jordan? What's brought you here today?
It's not Jordan, it's Jay Lalo. You said hi, so I said hi back.
Hi. How are you doing? What's brought you here today, though? Have you been here before?
Yeah, man, I've been here for a while. I just like listening.
Okay. All right. What do you believe right now? You've been listening for a while, probably, you said. So what do you think?
Are you a skeptic?
I'm a fence sitter.
Hey, we'll take it.
On the fence. And can I ask you why you're on the fence? Like, what is that one thing that's keeping you on the fence? That belief or whatever, or your proof that you would be on a ball, spinning in space, water bending, space time. Like, what made you believe in the globe in the first place? Like, what was that proof that they gave you that was like, you know what? That's real. Has to be
Well-
real because it looks so fake. I'm sorry, just joking. But go ahead. But you know what I
For
mean.
real.
What is that proof that they gave you that you were like, that's it, that's valid for me? I honestly kind of feel like that's real to me.
Well, I mean, as a kid, you don't really need much proof. They tell you it's
There you
a
go.
certain thing, and then you just accept it. So, and I
Right.
guess I don't know. I've been programmed a long time to think it's a ball. Only recently,
Okay.
I've seen your arguments about it being flat. It's making that
Yeah.
transition. Commitment. Maybe I'm scared of commitment.
Okay.
I have a
You know,
question.
that's a very honest answer, by the way. Very honest answer, and that's okay if you are still on the fence and choosing for yourself. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Go ahead, Jenny.
How did you learn about the topic of flat Earth?
Well,
For the person.
I saw
Go ahead.
YouTube. I saw YouTube posts about well, taking a mick out of flat Earth, to be honest. And then I saw
Wait,
what's
which
that?
one?
Well, no, just general like people taking the mick out of flat Earth. So that's like
Oh,
my
okay.
introduction to flat Earth. And then I see the Netflix documentary. I forgot what it's called. Beyond the Curve or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I
What was your
probably
opinion of that movie? What was your opinion?
well, they made them they made flat earthers to seem crazy, and I understand that the flat
Wow.
earth society is separate from like what you guys think. I'm guessing. I mean,
Right.
I've heard before that you guys don't really associate yourself with the flat earth society as such.
No.
But yeah, so I saw that, and then I went onto
Okay.
YouTube to see more stuff, and then I came across the 24-hour Discord thing on YouTube, and then I just joined in, and I've been listening for like the
Wow.
last 6 months.
That's cool, though. And I will say to this whole Flat Earth Society thing, I brought this up a while back, 6 months ago. And I was saying that it's very difficult here in America when I go and speak to people. I hear that a lot, and we are not associated with them. I want nothing to do with them. But the good thing is even in CNN report they did recently, they actually came back and said something to them and said, guess what? No, we are no part of the regular Flat Earth people. We are our own organization, and they don't even believe what we believe. That came from them, their own statement. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that they at least said that,
Oh,
because we
wait.
want nothing to be compared to them.
Don't forget, they said we have members all around the globe. Don't they say that shit? I think they do.
Well, they're fake members. Well, all the members that signed up and didn't realize what the heck they were getting into, so they probably have that list of them, but really in general, like, they're not part of them anymore. I mean, Mark, in the beginning, Mark was too, but then he was like, oh, heck no, because it got taken over and infiltrated like every single thing in this world does, it seems. You know?
Hey,
We,
shout out to Riggs. Hey, dude.
Hi, Regs.
Yeah,
How you doing?
if you go on Facebook, you'll be hard pressed to find any real flat earthers there. The whole place
Yeah.
was taken over by atheist globalist trolls. Many of them actually run Flat Earth Society pages themselves, and they just they just have fun with it. They're not even serious about science or any of these topics. Their whole goal is to be like a honey trap to troll people who they have deemed possess wrong things.
What?
Well, it's kept people away from even wanting to be on Facebook to spread the truth about Flat Earth, because when they do, they get bombarded with bots or blocked or even shut down. And it's like, well, why even use that platform? But at the same time, we try to use all platforms because they're going to censor you. Why? Because you're speaking truth. There's no other reason for them to censor you in the first place, because they're scared. Freedom of speech? Where did freedom of speech go? We've never really had freedom. It's an illusion, just like the globe. Completely
Just like
a delusion
everything.
in our heads.
Money.
Money runs everything, but money isn't real. But it's a concept made up, basically printed out. Here you go. Live.
Seems like fear's running more than money is.
Well, fear does run everybody's life, because that's why they don't want to stand up. They don't want to go against their government. I can't. I'm only one person. What can I do? That's the mentality that most people have. So nothing ever gets done.
Well, if they saw like they're more important than everyone thinks that they are, I don't know.
I think people don't even think they're important at all. Because that's what the whole globe model does in the first place, to make you feel like you're nothing. You come from nothing, you are nothing, and the world is so big that you can't understand it, you can't measure it, you have no idea. It's settled, shut up. So you don't even think, and you just live your life for whatever they give you, and that's it. That's all you know. And you think it's settled. And then one day, when you're 36 years old, you wake up and realize the circumference of the world, and you can find the curvature, and you've been seeing too damn far your entire life, and you go, what? Where's the curve? And then you keep looking for the curve, and it's nowhere. And you wonder what the heck's going on. Now, you could sit there and start thinking about space and closed system or anything, but in reality, it's freaking flat. And that's a wake-up call for people. It's a complete wake-up call. For sometimes people have to go really internal, and sometimes people break down. They need a place to go. They need someone to confide in. That's why we have a Discord like this, because we didn't have anybody to confide in. We're confiding in each other every single day. We're becoming almost like a family because we have no one else to reach out to about this truth. And that's why Ladies Night is important in ways, because we don't have enough ladies in this world. I don't mean on Discord. I mean in the world speaking truth, because honestly, they're too consumed with their kids and bringing them to the school system and what they have to do and education, and they don't even pay attention. And that's the problem. If the parents actually paid attention to what their kids were being taught, maybe they'd have an understanding of what's going on. But then again, you know what? They think it's settled too, because we've been told it's settled for so long that we don't even look into science. What is science? People don't even know.
Not
They don't even
really.
know the globe model. Yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah,
how
they
they
don't
live
even
every
know the
single day.
globe model.
Nope. And that's okay. Guess what? A lot of people don't. You walk around America, everybody's like, I don't know what we're talking about. Gas pressure, I don't get it. I really don't understand. I mean, you have to get so basic with balloons and tires and all this stuff. And like, you have to have a containment. Why do we have PSI? You can go through all those things. But in reality, what I'm walking on is what matters. And they want to always avoid that. No, no, no. But you're talking about a ball. There would be curvature. Forget everything else. You're on a ball. If there's no curvature, you're not on a ball. So why would you leave a water ball now spinning?
I do think at some point, at least for a point or two, to evaluate things that are considered anomalies for the heliocentric model, and then come to the point of investigating what you're on. I mean, it's kind of like bringing somebody into the topic of where they are. You know what I'm saying? Meet somebody where they are. So, but if, I know where you're coming from, like somebody doesn't want to understand those things. And so if you can't come to an understanding on a topic, then yeah, let's just get right to brass tacks. It's flat. Right? That's what you mean, right, Stacy? Uh-oh.
Absolutely. Because as soon as we start getting to the sky and you start going back to you go through the gravity thing, you go through the gas pressure, you do all that, and they go back to the sky again. But it's like, why don't you just get real simple, an experiment that you could do yourself, and you would keep yelling refraction, looming, blah blah blah. We're talking about visual things that you could see.
Well, I was referring to people who have been talking about the topic for quite some time, yet they still ascribe to the globe model,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think what you said, for those people, what you said, don't look at the sky, look at the ground you stand on. And like you said, keep it simple.
It's okay.
But for other people, if they, come across a couple anomalies that are pretty undeniable, then that's going to bring them to, looking at the ground rather than the sky.
It's got to come back to that, because we're talking about a geometric shape. We're talking about the Earth. We're not talking about space. We're talking about a flat Earth. So when we talk about flat Earth, you have to talk about the ground. You could go back up the sky all you want, but then again, you can't verify anything up there. You can still believe, okay, at the end of the day. What you can verify is what you're standing on.
Yes.
What we should be doing anyway. They're the ones that gave the shape. They're the ones that give the geometric shape, and you should have a curvature. Where is it? I've been asking for a while, but I can't find it. There was someone asking a question about to speak a second ago, too. I don't know what they said. If you want to ask again or say something. Maybe not, though.
I would like to, sorry to interrupt, ladies, but in the spirit of promoting Ladies' Night, there's a very spirited flat Earth debate going on down in, I think, speculation. I try to convince them to just have that conversation up here with you guys, since they're hard of hearing, and Swan Gazer is also. But to be fair, he did try to help. But if one of you ladies can go down, maybe you would be a little more persuasive and get some more action in it.
Okay.
Sorry, thank you.
Not a problem. I can go down. Anybody go down? Is someone going to be able to hold the chat if I go down for a second so I could try to get them to come up here and make them feel comfortable? Is that okay?
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I go outside, I look around, and I see the earth is flat. I see it straight up flat in
Just
front
saying,
of
I got my
eye.
new earbuds.
What did you say?
Got my new earbuds.
No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Jordan.
Okay.
I go outside, I open the door, I look outside, I see nothing but
Okay,
flat.
what ladies
You know
are
what
in
I'm-
here?
No, it's flat, man.
No.
All right, I'm looking in the voice chat for ladies. We got Soda in here.
I think the earth is flat.
That's what I told him. I'm a lady lover.
Oh, hey guys. How's everyone doing?
Hey,
Good,
girl,
good.
hey.
Yeah, I was actually going to present you guys with some pretty good material I came across regards to gravity. I know everyone in here, hates gravity, but I had an experiment that I found that actually calculates gravity in a more modern way without using the Cavendish experiment, because I know
Define
we all know.
gravity first.
Oh, I know you hate Cavendish.
Oh, I'm not going to bring up Cavendish here, not today.
Seems
But
like
yeah,
a waste
I was
of
just
time.
gonna wait. I was just gonna wait on if we had like any questions in here before I presented that, or
Define gravity.
yeah. Hey, Percentage, how are you doing? I thought you thought I was a troll, though, dude. What's up with that?
What do you mean?
Just answer the question.
Yeah, I'll answer the
Define
question
gravity.
for you. There's two definitions of gravity, so which one do you want?
The one that you're using.
Do you okay? Well, what do you want? I can. So there's an equation, right? Hold on. Let me get my notes here, because I had to type this up before I came in here. Because this is a lot to talk about.
Damn, old profesh.
How many types of gravity are there?
3.
Okay.
Okay,
Actually,
hold on.
4, if you're counting specific gravity.
Specific gravity. That's just relative.
Okay, well, let's let the lady present her information, and then we can have questions thereafter. That's okay.
Yeah, while I'm looking for that, y'all can go ahead and continue with the conversation. I'm just
Okay, let us know when you're ready.
Yeah, I got you. I'm pulling it up here.
I'm here too, by the way.
Hey, girl.
Yeah. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Specific gravity isn't relative density, by the way. It's something completely.
All right, well, we're going to hold all questions.
Yeah,
for now,
it is.
sir.
Yeah, in order for Ladies' Night to work, you're going to have to let the ladies answer these questions. Percentage.
She said she's, pulling up her information or stuff and to continue the discussion.
Well, the ladies are quite capable of answering the same questions. Soda, when you're talking, if you have questions, talk to the ladies. They can quite capably answer these.
In the meantime, one of our other ladies was trying to jump in.
Sure, she's trying to get more people in here to ask some questions, and so yeah, let's just you guys, Soda, address the other lady.
I'm ready. Okay,
Go for it.
I'm ready. I got it. Okay, so to answer your question, Percentage, we were talking about Newtonian's gravitational constant. Okay, not Einsteinian. So we're talking about Newtonian gravity right now. So basically, it's a torsion balance method. And it's not a Cavendish torsion. It's different. So what they do is they take a torsion. Here, let me pull up. I have a video that goes along with it, so it's kind of easier to understand. Hold on, let me pull up the video so I can like
How
explain
long
it.
is it?
Oh, it's like a 2-minute video. It's not even that long.
Nice. One
Hopefully
size
the video
fits all.
will help me explain it a little better to everyone. But I just want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Here we go. Here's a video of it. I'm about to link it in the live stream voice text.
Well, I'm gonna pause and watch it right when you post it.
Here we go.
Okay.
With the
Sorry, guys.
Newtonian
I'm just getting back. I
gravitational.
have no idea what's going on.
You said Newtonian gravitational theory, right?
Yeah, so this is a little apparatus right here. I just linked the video for everybody. So they put a stainless steel non-magnetic gold masses in a glass-plated torsion bar, and they put it in a 10 to the negative 5 vacuum. Okay, and that's it's basically what they're doing is they're measuring the force of Newtonian's force of gravity, big G, using this. So I just want to hear what everyone in here has to say about that.
That looks fake.
It's pretty.
That looks faked. I'm dead. That's all you guys have to say about it?
No. I just got back. I'm looking at what's going on here. I have no idea what was just said. Here's the point. How does that prove gravitational pull? Is that what you're trying to prove right now?
Yeah. It's proving Newtonian's proving Newtonian's gravity, G, big G.
Okay. Show me how it's proven it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of math that goes along with it, Stacy. I can link you that. They take
Do you
a vacuum.
understand how it's working, though? Do you understand why it's doing what it's doing and why it's... Yeah. Can you explain it to me right now? Because I haven't watched the video. I'm doing something.
Oh, yeah. No problem. You can watch the video. Yeah. So here, I'm going to link you something right here.
Okay.
That you can look at. Because it's more about...
How can you prove something that doesn't exist?
Well,
I think she's going to
That's
elaborate.
the problem. We don't know why it exists, but we can see it, right? I'm not.
Soda, I got a question.
I just wanted to see what you guys think about it.
Yeah, to get this thing going, do you have to like start it, or does it just happen
Give it
automatically
energy?
by itself?
I'm pretty sure you have to start it.
Okay, there you go.
The end.
There's the end. And you should
So
know
you're just
that
going to
that's
shut
the
down the
end.
whole experiment because someone has to plug it in?
Yes.
Well, I mean, if
Yeah.
gravity exists always, then as
You
soon as
don't
this
need
thing's
to.
built, it should automatically happen, right?
Correct.
What do you guys mean by plug it in?
Yeah, no, you plugging something
You
in.
basically have to start the thing going. You have to,
Are
do
you
the
sure
first
it's
strike of the
plugged in,
pendulum.
Soda?
Sorry, what was that,
Plugged in,
Station?
Soda? Is it plugged in?
I believe so.
I believe so. Okay, another belief again.
you
Why are we
plugged in?
stating things that you don't know? You're believing something
Well, I
without
don't
even doing the research and knowing what you're saying. Hey, this proof, look, this is gravity. Yet you're not even looking into it to know if it's even plugged in, what it's doing, but it's gravity because, again, authority says it's gravity. No proof, just authority saying something, and you're plugging something in.
What's the problem with plugging something in, Stacy B? What's the problem
Because
with
it should work without you plugging it in to prove gravity. Can you please show me gravity or mass attracting mass or any of this bullshit Newtonian or anything on Earth and nature? Please show it to me without plugging something in and giving energy or force in the first place.
Well, Stacy B, unfortunately, I can't show you that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you can't do that, can you at least explain how this thing works?
I literally did. Okay, so basically, it's measuring the gravitational constant using a torsion balance method. I'm sure you
Yeah,
know.
no, I understand that, but how's the apparatus like? How's it set up?
Okay, so how's it set up? I couldn't tell you that.
Okay, very good.
Well,
Could you tell me how they isolated for electromagnetism?
It's in a vacuum. It's in a vacuum chamber. It's in a vacuum chamber. Of 10 to the negative 5.
Electromagnetism still happens in vacuum chambers. So
Can
how
you
did
verify
they
that?
exclude? Yes, electromagnetism
Absolutely.
is ubiquitous. It's everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so wait a minute. I have a question for Soda. Ultimately, Soda, you were trying to say how how this is supposed to work, and you were going into something, and somebody asked a question when you were kind of trying to describe it.
Oh no, I wanted to see what you guys think about it.
Well,
and
can you elaborate a little bit ultimately on what this is supposed to mean? That would be helpful.
Did you
for
watch
me.
the video?
Well, yeah, it was just showing the apparatus, but it didn't say anything else. So
Can I ask you a question, Soda? Did you watch the video fully?
Yeah, I have it pulled up. It's like a 30-second video.
Okay, well, when someone's asking you how it works, can you please explain how it works? Because you know how this is. When somebody comes in with proof and they're showing something, they're supposed to show it and explain what their theory is. You're just saying, hey, guys, watch this video, and I know nothing about it, or explain it. Can you please explain to me how this
to see
is
what you
showing
thought about
gravity,
it.
please? I'm not asking what I'm thinking about. I'm asking what you think about it because you watched it and how it works. How does this show me that gravity exists?
I think it's pretty.
So it's torsion.
Or wait, you guys, Soda, how did you come across this video in the first place?
I was just searching up, because someone in here earlier, or a couple days ago, was talking about gravity experiments, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna look up, try to find an experiment demonstrating gravity. So here's how it works for everyone that wants to know.
Do you remember who that person was?
Oh, I think it was Effie Jedi that I was talking to.
Oh, well, maybe bring it up again and ask a few more questions, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking to him about it, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to find an experiment demonstrating gravity, and he was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I brought this one in.
Is this an experiment, though?
Is it an experiment? That's up to you.
It looks like a spinning decoration.
Well, okay, I think Soda was trying to tell us about her new interest in stuff she's going to be looking into, so she doesn't have the answers yet, all of them. So
yeah, so it's a turntable rotating at a constant speed. And then there's a torsion balance placed on the turntable located at a set of spheres. So it's basically what they're doing here is they're just trying to measure what Newtonian's gravitational constant is, and there's a bunch of math that goes along with it that I can link down here if anyone understands it. It's kind of complex though, but
see, the thing you need to do is to make it not complex. Like when you explain it, like, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to.
Because I would definitely need the layman's term version, please.
Yeah, that's the problem is I don't have the layman's term version, so I
Okay, Soda. I asked you even how it was plugged in. That is the most layman terms that I can get to. So, can you please explain to me how this works and proves gravity? Because gravity should exist and show it to you without you plugging anything in like you're stating that it's doing. I'd like to know that because I can't watch the video. I told you right now I'm doing something. So can you please explain to me how it got the force? Because you said it's plugged in. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, Stacy, I couldn't explain that because it's plugged in, so I don't really know what you want me to say.
Okay, that's all I want you to say. Thank
what
you.
does plugged in mean?
Means it's electrical.
Hey, Soda.
You mean it's plugged into a wall.
But given
Hey, Soda. Oh, sorry. Hey, Soda, when did you start looking into this angle?
Oh, I started looking into this like 2 days ago.
Okay. So
that's whenever Jedi was like, well, bring an experiment showing gravity. And I was like, okay. I just wanted to see what you guys say about it. But someone in here said it looks like a house decoration, so...
But we know when we prove gravity how we have to. Is that correct, Soda? How do you prove
Yeah, it has to be a naturally observed phenomenon. I get it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have brought this one in.
Okay, good. So at least you understand this is a proof that you shouldn't actually give for gravity, correct? Not valid because why?
Because it's not a
scientific
natural
method. Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know, and I'm not mad or anything, but that's not proof. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Question for Soda. Sorry. What made you want to look into this anyway? In this, the way you were looking into it, what made you want to do that?
The fact that the reason I looked into it is because they were like, oh, gravity is such a they were saying how they were having a debate with the Glober about gravity, and I was like thinking, and the Glober couldn't come up with a gravity experiment, and I was thinking to myself, like, how can all these people believe in gravity and not like ever prove it? Like, all these people are just believing in something that can't be proven. I was like, well, I'm gonna try to go out there and search for some proof here.
So, are you maybe looking for what the Glober explanations are, or?
I'm looking to the flat Earth explanation. I want to see what you guys have to say about it, and I presented it to you guys, wanting to hear what you have to say about it. Not necessarily trying to debate it, but just trying to see what you guys think about it.
Well, the reason why I asked if you were trying to come at it from an angle of I was ascribed to the globe, how would I explain gravity, or how is it explained? Because, you brought up the apparatus that's supposed to point towards the existence of gravity. And, it's a big topic, and obviously you can't do that in 2 days. But yeah, I guess you have to understand the globe side of it, and then, from what you know now of, flat Earth, you can help people along, because you got to meet people where they are, right? Oh no!
Who's got the windy mic?
It's me. Can you even hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jen, I was just about to say that's really, really well said. We do have to meet them where, where they're at. Otherwise, they're just not going to even understand or listen to us.
Exactly. You know all about that.
What did I miss? Sorry, guys.
So is there any Globers in this voice channel right now that would like to speak to us ladies and bring your best evidence for why you believe the Earth is a spinning ball of water?
Ooh, Becky, sorry.
Yes.
Why don't you go down to speculation, shut the other flat earther up, and drag a couple of those ladies and guy up here? Because that's what me and Stacy tried
Just
to
have
do.
a moderator move them up here. We're closing all voice chat except for this one.
Jen, you're so funny.
Do it, Becky. You got the power. Ladies know. Fuck it.
Yep. Due to social distancing, we're only doing one voice chat.
We don't do social distancing. No.
We're all going to gather together in one voice chat, because we don't do social distancing here.
How about we talk about the distance to the stars? Do you guys think that the stars are closer than the moon?
Are we really going to go down that pattern again? Because that's where
That's an excellent
soda.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that was a good question, but I'll shut up.
Stacy's hardcore for looking at the land, not the sky.
Yeah, you can't prove anything in the sky, Soda.
Well, do you think that the stars are closer than the moon?
Okay, this is what I'm going to say.
I think that's a great question, and I ponder that myself.
Yeah. So it's everything's going to be a belief. We can't verify any of that. You can't verify that. And that was the conversation that we had about 4 days ago when everything got heated and you became a globe skeptic again, because we were talking about stars and you said you had proof and verifiable proof that the stars were what?
At Stacy?
Uh-huh.
You can verify that the stars are further than the moon.
Okay, you can verify the stars or what? Can you please show me the proof? Because the last proof you gave me was from space.com. So can you please show me proof that they are?
Yeah, perfect. I can demonstrate it to you too.
Okay, how can you demonstrate
that the stars are further than the moon?
How'd you verify that? What are they made
basically, of? So no. I didn't. It doesn't matter what they're made of. I can still observe them.
You observe them from your eyes or a telescope, and you're telling me you know how far they are?
Well, I can tell that they're farther than the moon because I can take my telescope.
How can you tell with your eyes and a telescope how far a star is, depending on the light source that you cannot verify or what it's made of in the first place? Or that moon because you've never been. How can you verify? Remember, verify is what?
Yeah, so if you'd let me finish, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
So yeah, the reason you can tell that stars are further away than the moon is because I can take my telescope and I can shine it at the moon and I can get a nice, good view of the moon, right? But when I take my telescope, when I take my telescope and I look at all the other stars, I'm not gonna get that HD quality, you know, that top-notch quality, and that right there should just tell you that wow, maybe the stars are too far away to get this good quality.
Well, one, you don't know the size of those stars. You don't even know the size of the moon. You don't even know the size of what you're standing on. So how do you know anything, or that light source, or how bright it is, or how far it's hitting your eye? How would you verify what is hitting your eye in a telescope and where you can measure that, please? Distance. We're talking about distance here. Measurable distance. Can you at least verify how you measured that distance? Not looking through a telescope. That's how far away, because you're not telling me how far.
Well, I never said that I measured the distance of them, but I can know that they're further away just by observing them.
Knowing is proof. Can you please verify how you have that proof of distance?
I don't need the proof of distance to know that they're further away.
I'd just like to say thank you, Soda, for that point, because that would actually strengthen the flat earth argument that the sun is closer and the sun is a local light. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, for real. That's like supporting you guys.
If y'all say so.
My goodness. Anyone else have any questions or verifiable proof to show that the globe exists, or where the stars are? Because I'd like to know the distance. Not what NASA tells me, but verifiable distance, because they also say the sun is 90
Well, I do.
miles away. Hello,
I do.
How are you?
Good evening. I didn't realise men were allowed on here this evening. I just got told off by Rig and a few others.
You're not supposed to actually be on The Voice this evening. It's supposed to be just flat earth women.
There we go. So should I leave then?
So no, just make your voice really high and like sexify your
Yeah, just put on a high voice. You'll be right. You can take over.
Voice access would be by invitation only. So feel free to utilize the chat, the text chat, and we can give you a shout out if you say something funny or something.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Right. So I'm taking all those comments. I'm taking those.
I'm going to leave the chat, actually,
Yeah,
because
I'm-
ladies' night,
yeah.
you guys were just speaking a second ago and talking, okay? And then all of a sudden they're not supposed to speak. So what is it? Speak or not speak? And there's guys coming here asking questions.
Yeah, it's please don't speak, guys. It's if there's a female flat earther on Ladies' Night that can answer the questions, but I don't think we've got any Globers in here anyway. So maybe one of you flat earthers want to play devil's advocate for us.
Yeah, I will. Can I play devil's advocate being a man as well, as I'm illegal in here right now?
Yeah, you sure can.
Well, time out. Why is this better? Wait, time out.
No. Now you've
Time out.
Now you've all got,
No. Why is this better than my idea, where there's 2 female Globers and a couple of other Globers down in speculation? Why
Because
is that not a better idea?
Because they chose to go down there. They chose not to be up here. I'm not going to go and force people where to go or what to do.
You didn't ask, did you?
I heard you guys already asked and they wanted to stay down there. I'm not going down there to force them to come up here.
No, some of our friends just kept talking through us, and I know you're not the type to play that shit. That's all.
or is that one? No, no one listening. Okay.
All right. I really don't want dead air on a live stream, so I'm gonna go ahead
Uh-oh,
and
not good, not good.
Right. You know, does anybody else have any questions or want to say something about what we're standing on, or even anything?
Or any ladies have anything at all that they want to share? Any commentary,
God,
opinion?
pass me a bucket. I'm off. Good night.
All right. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say, it's worked out the past few weeks. I mean, we can't expect it to actually, work out, the best way every time we try it. So it's cool.
Well,
We
it can be a
would if
discussion
people
for
are
later.
supportive and they follow the rules. We won't have an issue. I mean, it's 2 nights a week on one day. It's not that hard. We've been advertising for over a week, so people just need to get together and realize if they have friends and family who are, Globers or even female Globers, that this is the night to entertain any thing associated with the ladies answering their questions. And that's what it's going to be. So get over it. Who doesn't like it?
Well, I think all of us could be on the same page eventually, and it'll be better. So. But yes, ladies only. What's up, Sassy? What's new with you?
Not a whole lot. I had a last minute errand that took me away. Y'all's 5 o'clock is my 4 o'clock where I'm at. I'm in Texas, so
same here.
Lost a little
I'm in
bit.
Texas too, Sassy.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
All right, I'm not looking at the text chat, ladies. I'll AFK for a second.
Yeah, so we have any Globers in here? Let's see who we got in here. We got Reckoner. We got ET.
What about Jordan? Have we spoke to Jordan before?
Have we? Jordan?
Carnivore has the lobby role. I'm going to unmute you, Carnivore. And see if you have any questions for the Flat Earth ladies. Are you at the mic, Carnivore? You have control of your mic.
I have a question in the meantime if he's not responding.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like with Flat Earth, what do you guys think? Would it have been a controlled release, or would it been more that like the people that like figured it out sort of like happened naturally, or that is like YouTube pushing it, or why are we the ones that are
Why are we all flat earthers right now?
like knowing it?
I love that question.
Well,
I've been wondering about that.
In 2015-16, I started researching Flat Earth in 2015, based off of Zeitgeist, a movie that one of my friends asked me to watch, and I revisited it in 2016 and did a lot of my research during that time. And I found that, Flat Earth wasn't a new topic at that time. It was a resurgence of the understanding and the truth of Flat Earth, coupled with the Truther movement, which had really had a boost with 9/11, and it kind of just like escalated up into the point that we are now. I think 2017 on up has been really some of the big years that people have been coming out as Flat Earthers and really taking charge of the movement. You had a lot of conferences started. You had a lot of billboards being done. You had a lot of stores open up with Flat Earth merchandise, stickers, bumpers. And we really were about, spreading the message. So it's really not new. I know Eric Dubay, Mark Sargent, and some of those older names had been on for a while before, this reemergence of Flat Earth. I don't really think that it was, set up to be that way, like a co-op or a, this, PSYOP situation that everyone said, because Flat Earth has been around long before we were even born, some of us. So That's my take on it.
I love that, what you had to say. That was wonderful.
Yeah, I think so too. But why is it like, I reckon 2017, I think it was like the proper year when the numbers went like well up, like the views on YouTube, and why would it why did it start off like there?
I'm not really sure. I came into it through personal relationships with friends, and an exploration of, losing my religion and my faith and, humanity at that time. So it was a personal journey for me, as opposed to, someone just exposing you to flat earth and saying, hey, the earth is flat, kind of thing. And I think that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, I had that too. Yeah, that I had to go through that moment of understanding what religion really was, and that was also the same time that flat Earth popped up in my life, and nobody like told me about it or anything. It was literally like online, just pushed, sort of, based on what I was watching, probably.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I got cut off and had a phone call. If I interrupted the stream, I did not mean to.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, you're fine.
You know what we're talking about, or did you?
No, I actually don't, and I got Rada running in the background. Sorry about that. Go ahead, though.
All right. Why flat Earth became much bigger from, like, say, 2017 or so on, and Ceci said about like with losing her religion, and flat Earth came up at about the same time. I had exactly the similar thing. Like, my religion, I lost it, and flat Earth popped up like within the same days.
I wasn't that way at all for me. I actually, I go back and forth sometimes in my heart with what I'm still questioning. Because when you don't know something and you can't prove it, but you have this understanding in you because you've seen miracles, you've seen things happen that you can't explain. I go internal. I'm very spiritual, but I always believed this stuff. In fact, I was actually still talking about Jesus Christ only about 7 months ago, and I still pray. I still do all these things. The answer is I don't know, but I already knew the shape of the earth in my heart because I was told that when we were young in church. So I already thought it was flat, but there was no way to prove that for me, I felt like, at all, until I learned the circumference. And it's okay to be at 36 years old and not know the circumference because they're hiding that stuff. I think they teach it to you at a very young age if they do, and they want you to forget it and move on and focus on space. Remember how you used to create those little planets and everything? Look, focus on this. Pluto, because Pluto's a planet, but now it's not. It's all this misconception that they want you to focus on instead of actually what you can verify. Nothing they want you to verify at all. Don't look, guys.
It's quite funny because in school, I definitely didn't grow up with the idea of the shapes of what planets are, and talking about the Earth being a ball in space. Like, I totally cannot remember anything at all throughout school. Same like dinosaurs or Big Bang. Like, they didn't talk much about that because it was like a Christian school. Even like after I was 12, the school after that, like, I don't know how you say that in like English. I think it's secondary school then. So you're 16. Even then, we didn't really we just skipped the pages in our books, science books, and we just moved on to other subjects that were allowed in the Christian schools.
I think a lot of people just get their test done and move on. They just want to pass that test, you know what I mean? Everybody does, so they can get on and get out there and get into the real world. But in the reality, it's like, what? What am I jumping into after that?
Yeah, after
I just want to say to everyone in here, if in case you all haven't done your research, George Floyd is nothing but crisis actors, CGI. It's all a fake. Okay.
Man, get out here.
No, I have evidence. I have evidence.
Emphasis on the word
I
man.
understand, but this is not the live stream for that right
Out
now.
of here.
hon.
Don't bring that in here.
What, George Floyd?
Yeah.
With the riots?
I don't
you think
know
that
if they want
stuff's
to
real?
talk about. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not saying it's real. I'm not talking about giving my opinion on that. What I'm saying.
Yeah, I
is
do think
don't
it's real
think
because
they
you can
want-
watch him die on camera.
Okay, so let me fill you in on the fact of the matter.
We
George
were
Floyd.
actually in the middle of a conversation, thank you. If you don't mind, we were like in the middle of a conversation. And this is really not like
If
what
somebody has a question about, the shape of the earth and wants to talk about that when interrupts, that's just something that's absolutely fine. That's what we're here for. Yeah.
I think we've got another chat room for that, right? For like hoaxes or whatever.
I have a question for the ladies.
Hi, E.T. Is that who I'm speaking to?
Yeah, hi
Yes.
Stacy.
Hi, hon. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay. What's the question? What you got?
Okay, well, I think it's been touched on before, but I've brought it up a couple times. By the way, before I ask my question, I just quickly want to say, I think part of the reason this became really popularized around the 2017 time is when those Eric Dubé videos started to get a lot of YouTube hits. Anyway, I don't know. I'm still new to this, so maybe I'm wrong.
You mean the algorithms?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So people got put in their face in front of them is what you think about a certain time overall, maybe on the recommendations, and that's why you got into it. I think a lot of more people were looking into it at that time. We weren't as censored back in 2014 when I was looking into Rob Skiba, or 15 even, and all those, Eric Dubé. We didn't have that censorship back then. I still didn't have the understanding fully, though, even though I was doing that research back then. And there was the whole, I don't want to get into society crap. And so I got away from that. But then when you realize that there's a total different understanding to this than what they're trying to push, okay, and then you understand that, hey, there's a circumference and the global Eurator happened, and I was able to see people get out there and speak this. For me, it was different. It's not even about a YouTube video anymore. It was about verifying something for myself. But I'd already been verifying it my entire life. Is the point, So people could say people could say it's not real. People could say there's shills. People could say whatever they want about it. You could even believe in this society. I don't care. At the end of the day, there's a geometric shape and there's an equation given to find curvature. There is no curvature, so there is no globe. We have air pressure. It has to have a container. So all those things instantly prove the model done. And there is no proof that they come in here besides some Snopes, Space.com, or something that doesn't even verify or going into the scientific method. I'm looking for somebody to come in here and show me that, hey, gas pressure could exist without a container. I wanted to see literally the vacuum of space. Because how did they create all that stuff to go to space without even testing it? They have to create that environment here to build stuff into, to understand that it could go up there. So why don't I see a vacuum chamber of space on Earth so I can verify that as well? There's no verification anywhere of that model. None.
Right. Okay. Well, then, therefore, I guess I have two questions. Just on that last point, I've heard that the level. It's just a question. The amount of water in the atmosphere, supposedly, I just heard this. I can't verify this, but that if you condense it all into like it would be about like 10 meters high.
Like a barrier?
Yeah, and so
of
like
gases
couldn't
pressing
that
together? No, it doesn't work like that.
No?
Because the gases would still escape. You're talking about gases, right? Gases pressing against gases. First of all, that wouldn't even work that way. But even if it did create a barrier, like you're trying to say, and it works totally different than we could understand. There's something up there that we don't get, and gas pressures are doing that. A container of gas. We're talking about gases next to a vacuum of space.
Yeah, but water isn't a gas, as far as I understand it.
Water is not a gas. It is a liquid. Right?
Right, and I don't.
What is
we
water?
We could talk about this later because I know it's ladies' night, hour, whatever.
We can
All
talk
right,
about it.
I just yeah, okay. I just chimed in because this is my real question. Then I'll be quiet. I just wanted to know if you guys wanted to get into the subject of saddle loons, because that's something that I really can't wrap my mind around for some reason.
Why can't? What's the one thing that, like, you can't? Doesn't make sense to you?
It's mostly that I just can't believe it.
Yeah, you're right, because it's not true. It's just some nonsense that I've heard about the saddle loon theory, because honestly, I used to look into it because I was like, well, man, satellites really aren't verifiable, right? But at the same time, there's thousands of independently owned satellites that people have, and how are we supposed to believe that all of these people are in on the globe lie, right? Like, I don't really know about all that, but the saddle loons are just a little thing that the flat earthers made up to support the fact that satellites aren't real. It's a theory. It's not verified. No one really knows. But you can believe that they're satellites. If you don't want to, then the go-to is the saddle loon theory. I've looked into it before. I don't really know if I believe it either, dude. But I would just say go research that for yourself, because all the people that own these satellites, not all satellites are owned by NASA. Okay, dude. There's thousands of other space agencies that aren't owned by the government. So how are we supposed to believe that all these people are lying?
What?
But they're not. They're not lying. It's because it's compartmentalized. All these agencies and agendas that are happening.
Why would NASA be the number one consumer of helium, and why would NASA use that? What's the whole point for NASA to have the most of them? Maybe because it has to do with some balloons or something, like they need helium.
Saddle balloons, Tony, have been actually proven. I don't know where you're getting that they haven't been. They have been. There's video. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, you could think what you want because you've not seen them yourself, so that's fine. I understand that's not your verifiable information. I get it. And I'm not saying satellites don't exist. People do see stuff in the sky, but it is not where they say it is. And a satellite can, I'm serious, I'm in an Indy 500, okay? And how fast that car goes by me, and I can barely see it. If a satellite is moving at 17,000 miles per hour, I am not seeing that where they're telling me it's at. So therefore, whatever you're seeing is not where they say it is, automatically.
Why?
Because you would never see it at 17,000. You go try to look at something of that size, that far away, at 17,000 miles an hour, and tell me you could see that with your own eyes. Where have you ever witnessed anything going 17,000 miles an hour past you when you were able to see it? Your entire life. Think about that. 17,000 miles per hour.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, Stacy. But just because that balloon satellites exist doesn't disprove low Earth orbiting satellites.
You got to first prove it to say that it exists. And we're talking about, you just said a second ago that they didn't exist and now they do exist. But it doesn't matter.
Well, that's if you think they exist or not. That's up to you. That's your own verifiable truth, in your own words.
Well, I'm actually telling you there's videos. If you don't want to believe it and other stuff because you've never seen it, that's fine. But again, you just made a statement that they didn't exist and there's no proof. But then again, now you're saying they do exist. I'm just asking you which one it is. Okay.
Not sure what the question.
Was in here a second.
Not sure what the question was.
Which one that you believe that exists or doesn't exist? Because you said both. There's no proof, and then you said there was proof. So I'm just wondering which one that you believe. Is there proof or not proof?
We can see pictures of the saddle loons, but then again, I've never
pictures.
Yeah, I've never seen one in person though.
Is there no video or no?
To be honest, I've never even heard of saddle loons before I came to the flat Earth community. I had no idea what that shit was until I came here.
Okay, so yeah, and that's fine. It's just the knowledge you just didn't have. You didn't gain that yet. That information. That's okay. A lot of times we don't find information until you get to one platform or one thing, and it reaches you to another one. I've been down a rabbit hole for I don't know how many years. We go from 9/11 to the next step to the next step, and now I'm sitting here at 37 talking about what? The shape of the Earth that I was not doing. What, a year ago? No. So those things like that, when you look into them out of nowhere, like flat earth brought you to a new reality of understanding, and now you're going to find even more information and knowledge, and I'm growing every single day over here. These people are also giving me information that I've never seen before, popping them in the voice text. Oh, that's cool, that's interesting. You know,
Oh, Sven.
how are you doing? Is there anybody in here that has any questions that you'd like to ask us?
I have another question, and thanks for answering my Saddleloon question.
Mm-hmm.
So I've also heard this other thing that it's you know, the idea comes across sometimes. People bring up the idea that it could be some kind of screen rotating. Like this kind of goes. This is an explanation as to why the Saddleloon thing might not work. And with
I'm
the
sorry, I
moon
can't
and
miss that.
the
You're
sun.
saying you had a screen of what now? Can you repeat that again for one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I'm kind of tired today. I'm not really speaking clearly. Like,
It's okay.
so some kind of rotating. The closest word I could come up with right now is a screen, like a domed television screen of sorts.
Okay.
Spinning around, right? Which would also explain like the seasons and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Are we talking? What are we talking about here again? I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Okay, yeah, about like the satellites, and it would also
Right.
describe the stars and the sun and the moon as well.
The satellites describe the stars, the moon, and the sun. Can you explain how that works?
Well, I'm posing it as a question, but I mean, what do you think about the idea that like almost like they're just lights above the disk, if you want to use that word?
Whatever that we're standing on, disc, you can call it whatever you want, because I can't verify it's a disc, but I can verify that all the measurements are flat as far as we can measure. But yeah, if you want to call it that for your, your belief or whatever, I understand that. But I'm confused of how a light source can show you that the Earth is, flat or not, or the stars what they are and all that. I mean, satellites have nothing to do with anything besides a man-made object that we are putting into the sky.
Right, yeah, I don't really think it's like a proof of evidence or anything like that.
Okay.
It's like simply asking like what the idea or what the thinking is in this community towards the idea of there being some kind of, I don't know, almost mechanical, perhaps mechanical, I don't know, thing above us, let's just say, which could explain this behavior where we see these lights, which we call satellites, and stars and whatnot, you know? Sorry.
Well, I'm not saying that satellites don't exist. I just don't think they exist anything like they're saying. I do believe I've seen stuff up in the sky. I also have seen objects that we don't know about, but that's the point. Those are things I cannot verify. But how our world works has nothing to do with a man-made object. So satellites can be thrown out the window because that's technology. Okay, but when we're talking about the sun, the moon, the stars, I can't verify that. They could be in the dome. Is there a dome? We have a barrier. We have to have a container of some sort because we have PSI, we have gas pressure, air pressure. So we're breathing. So those things I can't verify. You know what I mean? No one can.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for answering my question.
Yeah. And I wish I knew. We all do, actually. And I'd love for anyone that could verify that and go up there to do that. But at the end of the day, how are you going to? And especially, you don't even know where it's at. And you can't leave. More than likely, you're going to hit a barrier. Unless we could get through this barrier that we have no understanding of how to get through. But to be honest, nature does not show that. You cannot get through a barrier that's contained.
Well, even if you did, what are you going to do when you get outside?
You're going to bust it open, and what's going to happen?
Crazy.
The pressure is going to what?
Get sucked out.
Right. It's going to be released. It's going to move. It's going to expand. It's going to go into that other space. So even if they were to bust it open, we're talking about what's going to happen to us then. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't be busting it open at all. Quit trying.
Have you guys seen that video with Hillary Clinton? She's talking one time, and she talks about like breaking open the ceiling, I think were her words, like cracking it open or something to that effect.
Breaking the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
It's a trip. Like, why would she say that?
And there's a million cracks in it. So she said.
Anyway, it's ladies' night, so I'll stop talking, at least for a couple hours until this ends. I have one final question. One thing I don't hear people talk about in this discussion is the correlation between flat Earth and UFOs. And I'll take my answer off air.
Yeah, I apologize too for jumping in. My bad.
No, you guys are fine. As long as we're not having people in here asking questions, and if we want to talk about something that's serious and about what we're standing on, then I personally don't have a problem with that. But if somebody in here has a question that, doesn't believe that the Earth is flat, I'd love to have that conversation with you, or at least that you don't believe that it's a globe, because that's what I'm at. It's not a globe. Flat as far as I can measure. Anybody want to talk about what they believe? I think we're all flat earthers here now.
Okay, I'll jump in one final time. When I watch all these videos, because I've been spending a lot of time in this channel lately, and one thing that keeps popping in my mind is that a lot of these explanations for a lot of this strange phenomena, which to disprove the globe theory, seems to be able to be explained by a model of a globe which is much larger than's been described. So instead of Earth being the size that they say it is, maybe something more along the lines of Jupiter or something could explain some of these things. And now I'm done.
How would you say that, though? Because if we are in a container, I guess you want to put a container on an entire globe, and we are a bigger shape than we say, then the whole point is why even believe in that globe? It doesn't make any sense. You believe it because you were taught it. So if the measurements are wrong that they gave you, and this entire imagination Disneyland theory, why even go back to that you could believe that it's a ball?
It wasn't even taught to us. We were told certain things about it just enough to where we would believe it. We were never taught critical thinking in school and what that means. So there's that. Sorry to jump in on you, Stacy.
Oh, no, you're fine. And maybe we are a bigger place. But at the same time, we still have to be contained, right? 1. And 2, you'd have to find that curvature. And as far as we can see, it's not here. So instead of believing in something that is a fairy tale that you can't even verify, the horizon's flat, everything you see and measures flat, why believe in this bigger globe, smaller globe? I've heard all these different theories because they want to hold on to that imagination. Oh, it's wonderful. Guess what it is? But it's scientific BS. Excuse me, pseudoscience.
See, the thing is,
it's not real.
When you don't,
Is this ladies' night? Is this ladies'
yeah.
night?
Yes, it is. When you don't give full disclosure on something, and then you expect people to comply. Oh my gosh, I got a bee almost coming in my car. Okay, we're good. So there's a major portion of information that people have not used to come to the conclusion about what their beliefs are. There's a lot of half-truths out there, and like Stacy's been talking about this whole time, is verifiable evidence, things we can verify. There isn't any. We weren't taught any. It's not like we went on a field trip in school and, hey, we're going to prove how to find the curvature. It just seems like a coincidence. I know. Isn't it a coincidence that we didn't get to do something like that?
Right. Why didn't we go out and measure that curve? Exactly. That's the point. When we used to do all those projects and science in class, why didn't we? We went out to dissect stuff and things. Why weren't we trying to go measure the curve? Why didn't they show us that curve? They taught us the model. You need to learn it, but they don't even want to show it to you?
But no, we have a bunch of useful idiots, and pretty soon the movie Idiocracy is going to be our real reality.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, but the thing is, I think what helps a lot in conversation is if you identify with people that what we're really dealing with here is not just deception about where we live. It's honestly about everything. And, it's something that needs to be discussed, from the same team type perspective. Because, they treat us like useful idiots. They tell us what to do all the time. That's why I tell my granddaughter. It's why I tell my granddaughter, I'm like, honey, you got to do it. Everybody's got to be told what to do. When grandma goes to work, she's got to be told what to do. Yeah. You're not alone, kid.
Well, and that's the thing someone just said is rocket science. And you know what? When a kid hears that, they go, oh, I can't understand that. That's new to them. It's too difficult to understand. I don't get that. I don't get how that works.
That's like a weaponized term. Just like conspiracy theory is weaponized. People hear the one word conspiracy, automatically their brain goes to, oh, it's not true. People are crazy. But no, do people look into it?
Hey, I got a question, guys. Is this going to be going on in a couple more hours?
Probably not fully ladies' night hours, but I'm sure. I don't know how long they do ladies' night.
It's possible, but I don't think any time has been determined. I guess upon participation.
Yeah, and what's happening?
Okay, yeah, because Cunny said he's got some new material for us.
I don't want.
I wanted him to come to ladies' night, but
Cunny.
I don't want to hear Cunny.
No,
he's busy right now.
Cunny's not participating in this ladies' night. Sorry, Soda.
It's okay, Bambi. He'll come back. He'll come later after ladies' night because he's at work right now. So we'll see him later.
Okay, that's good. Well, he can be here when we're gone.
Thank you very much, Bambi.
Hi, Bambi.
Yeah, he's technically still on the permaban list. He's technically still on the permaban list, so if he's here when I'm here, I'm banning him. Just so you know.
Why?
I don't like his energy.
He's a full-time troll. We've been told by NDO. NDO's determined he's on the permaban list, so technically he's permaban.
Yeah, so don't ask, don't bother.
Just don't bother. Yeah.
And I could already tell that Cunny's been in her ear the whole time because I've been saying this for about 4 days that Cunny is in Soda's ear and I'm not sure it's just Cunny. I'm sure it's a couple of them. I'm confused though, Soda, though, while you're over here hanging out with us, teaching ladies' night, flat earth, and everything, and then Cunny's come over and Kosho's gone and they've gotten into your ear and now you're over here spitting a bunch of globe nonsense that I don't even think you necessarily believe either because Cunny wants you to say it. So if Cunny wants to say something, why doesn't he say it? Because he can't because he got banned.
Stacy, so what you're ultimately saying, this is what I'm hearing from you, is that we need to help Soda a little bit maybe with her discernment.
Yeah, agree.
No. Stacey, I love how you're throwing all these false assumptions around. I'm not trying to cause a...
said, Cunny.
I said he's coming later. He messaged me that he was going to come to ladies' night, Stacey. That does not mean that he is sending me information and brainwashing me or whatever you want to think.
Okay? I never said brainwashing.
Soda, did you hear what I said, though? Don't you think it looks better from that aspect?
It does look better. It looks better. Listen, I'm just questioning the narrative, like Becky said. I don't know why it's such a big deal. But
it should be questioned, and everybody should listen to the conversation. That's my opinion. So I back
all
up what
I said was I never said brainwashing. I make my words clear because you take my words out of context and you're twisting them. I never said that.
Wait, everybody's process is different. Everybody's process is different. We're experiencing Soda's process.
Right. And that's what we're saying.
All right, cool. Glad we're on the same page.
Correct. But so did you have any questions then?
No, I already presented my I'll jump in if I hear anything that's worth talking about.
That's cool. Okay. I look forward to hearing about it, Soda, if you come up with something else.
All right, thank you.
But Soda, hold on, Soda, can I ask you something?
Yeah, no problem.
How did you go from having a flat earther to a globe skeptic?
Oh,
that's an interesting and honest question. I appreciate
that is an honest question, baby. I'm glad to tell you here. Yeah, so what happened was Cunny was here the other day and I was like kind of backing him up and they're like, well, Soda, maybe she isn't a real flat earther. Maybe she is, but she's not 100% on the flat earth side. And I was like, yeah, maybe they're right. So I got all my roles taken away from me, which is whatever, but I got them. I got. So then one of the mods DM'd me and was like, "Hey, we're giving you the Globe Skeptic role because we really don't think you're a true flat earther yet, and that you still have some questions." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." So now that I've been given this label as Globe Skeptic, well, I'm gonna start asking more Glober questions because now I have the opportunity to. Because before I was just kind of throwing the flat Earth tag on my name. Just because I was flat smacking people doesn't necessarily mean that I don't believe in the flat Earth. I do believe more in the flat Earth than the globe for sure. But I still have some questions.
Can I share something that I just thought of right when you were speaking, Soda? I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, go ahead.
I learned this a long time ago, like literally like 2.5 decades ago at one of my jobs. She said that problems are opportunities. So sounds like you're having some issues, and that, is a signal for you to look into them more. So, whatever things that you want to look into more. Yeah, whatever you want to look into more, we're excited to hear about your findings. So, but if you come to a place where you don't think you have enough answers yet, well as anybody else in here that you can say, well, at this time I don't know, but I'm going to look into it. You know what I mean? That's what we're all supposed to say.
Can I just ask a further question to what I initially asked? You said that Cunny was in here talking, and that's you were sort of defending him on the globe thing. What was the sort of thing you were defending? So what's making you globe skeptic? What's the topic?
There's really no topic. I mean, the whole gravity. They were talking about gravity and how it's not verifiable or whatever, but. I just don't understand how such a small group of people like the flat earth community can believe in that this one thing is not existing. I don't know, because I grew up with gravity, like understanding it, and I just don't understand how you guys can just disregard such a strong force.
We all grew up in understanding gravity, but then we realized and we understood that it cannot be proven, and we run on proof here, don't we? So if something cannot be proven, then I'm going to be skeptical of it, right?
Well, maybe there's proof that you just haven't looked into it that far.
Well, but we have. Like every single, like you said, the small community, every one of us have dedicated days, weeks, months, years. And do you not think it's a bit fishy that people who have been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years have never found that proof?
Okay, so hold on. All right. So within the propaganda chains, you have actor Neil deGrasse Tyson posing as an astrophysicist telling us that he doesn't know what gravity is. And I seriously doubt it that he's not wanting to actually answer the question. I mean, I don't think anybody has answered the question and what it really is. So that should really, raise a red flag to say, well, then why is it being presumed as true? And then it just automatically fits into the model. I mean, you just have to really, if you feel like you need to look into it more because you said that you feel like you grew up knowing about gravity, then revisit that whole topic with what you know now. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Everything you were taught, just question it, and you eventually, if you have enough brains, not like Jim Panda or anything like that, you'll realize that there is no proof, no matter how far you look into it. Because if you think that there is, and we have not looked into it far enough, and there is proof for gravity, I would love to hear it.
And then when you get to the point where you look into it more, you can use that experience for yourself and then pay that forward to other people. So, maybe have that in the back of your mind. Oh, well, I'm doing this because when I find it out, I'm going to tell other people about my, what I did. Not that that's the sole purpose of doing it, but, so you're doing it for yourself, but then also, how could you not share it?
Yeah.
So is there anything else that's sort of tying you to the globe? So gravity.
Oh, I'm not tied to the globe at all, Bambi. I just
Yeah,
said
no,
that.
no, no. But what I mean by that is like threaded to the globe. Like there's like if you weren't tied to the globe, you'd be nowhere near the globe. So like we're not tied to the globe, whereas you're globe skeptic, so you have to have some threads there. What other threads have you got that's making you?
Oh,
say,
just
well,
the
actually,
gravity thing. I brought up a couple pictures to the chat a few days ago that show obvious curvature obstructing mountains.
Okay, two different locations, and you didn't have the
It was the
measurements of
same
where they were
location,
standing in the
Stacy.
server's height, huh?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Something I thought of, you guys. Please forgive me for jumping in here. Okay, so, we're talking about, so you need to do something that you can verify, I would say, Soda. So you would have to find 2 observational points, where you can have a frame of reference. And, so just, if anything else, I guess, I mean, even if you can't photograph it or whatever, do it for yourself to see it with your own eyes. I mean, I don't know where you live and I don't need to know, but, I don't know if you could go on a field trip or something to do an observation. You can pick wherever you want to do it, I mean, okay, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, can you guys hear me okay? Because my internet's been really choppy.
Yeah, you're going good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so this is something I've been thinking about for quite some time, for probably 6 months or more. All right, so everybody seems to be strongly attached to the idea that we have to be labeled in some sense in a social structure that is a necessary evil, for lack of a better word. Okay, so ever since I've been on this Discord, I've been a flat earther, okay? And I'm not trying to cause any controversy or any drama or anything, but if I want to be actually intellectually honest with myself and those that I interact with, I have not seen or any observations that I can verify for myself. So I only have things that I've heard other people say. So
yeah,
in
we give you things
in all actuality, technically I should be in the globe skeptic category. I mean, if you really want to get down to it. I mean, so because I really can't say I know the earth is flat, meaning me doing something that verifies for me that we are on a flat plane. And, I am okay with knowing or having a strong belief that it's probably not a globe. I'm honestly okay with that. And so, I don't know. If Miss Soda has to be globe skeptic, I'll be globe skeptic. So, but I just think the more important thing, at least for me personally, is knowing that there's deception out there. There's lack of full disclosure. And so you really can't have an opinion about something if you don't have most, if not all, the information that you want to form your opinion about. So what do you guys think about all that? Sorry to go on a monologue. I really apologize.
I think that was very well said, Jen.
Oh, well, thank you, Becky. Appreciate that.
Hey, Soda, is there any way you could post those 2 pictures again for me, hon, and make sure that there are 2 separate pictures and not on the same format, please?
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second.
I need 2 separate pictures so we can do an overlay of those 2 pictures to make sure that they line up and everything is correct from the observer and all that. That's all I want, hon. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, give me a second.
Not a problem. Take your time if you can do that.
I base off of observations and stuff. So I observe the Earth to be flat, so I'm going to believe it's flat. Until I observe something else, I'm going to believe it is flat. Or till I have proof of something else, I'm going to believe the proof that we have, which is it's flat. Like I say, I run on proof. I run on what I see. I run on my observations, my senses. And my senses tell me that we are on a stationary, flat thing.
Actually, you know what? I saw a new tag I never saw before for the server, and that is I think, was it Realm or Earth Realm or something?
I don't know.
Oh,
There's
sorry.
so many new tags being made, man. I've lost track.
So I wasn't trying to change anything on what you were saying. Knowing what you stand on is, I think, what you're saying.
Yeah, saying that I, what I observe, what I feel, what my senses tell me, is what I'm going to believe it is. Until I have otherwise, I'll believe that I believe what my senses and what I see and what I observe.
I mean, what came to mind when you just said that is how does it work? Honestly, how does it work from a globe apologist perspective that we're supposed to be spinning so fast, but yet somehow magically the atmosphere moves with us, and that's why we can't feel anything? That just sounds so absurd.
Sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying. What were you saying now?
Was I cutting in and out? That's possible.
No. That's I just didn't understand what you were saying. I'm sorry. I was reading the chat as well.
Okay, so I'm trying to be a globe apologist here, okay? So we're spinning so fast, but somehow the atmosphere moves with us, and that's why we don't feel anything. And that just, to me, with all that I've listened to for the last 4 years, it just seems absurd that that's somehow possible.
It does, because we would have to, I don't know, demonstrate it on a smaller level and be able to prove it. Otherwise, it's just a theory and it's just being skeptical. Because, like, if you're, I don't know, on a roller coaster or something, on a car, plane, you can still feel it.
So
different motions, linear motion.
If there was some sordid attempt at even possibly proving that the atmosphere moves with us, how would that happen, do you think? I mean, really?
I'm not sure. I don't think it is able to prove because, well, I'm not sure how you would do that, but that's not for me to prove.
You're right. Exactly. You're absolutely right. But I was coming from the globe apologist.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, thank you for participating.
I don't know how they would do that. I don't know. I don't know how they could possibly replicate that on a smaller scale.
I mean,
maybe
it's not a topic on the world stage at all, is it? Oh, sorry, Bambi.
No, it's not. No, I was just going to say, maybe they could have like a spinning room or something and then put someone inside the spinning room in a spinning thing. I don't know. But I don't think it can be replicated on a smaller scale. I don't know how they would do that. It just sounds absurd that moving while spinning in multiple directions in a moving thing can make you just cancel out all movement.
I'd have to say, the way Eric Dubay says all the movements, I should write it down actually, or have it copy and paste ready, where he says we're rotating, wobbling, spinning, shooting, to me it's pretty iconic because, nobody ever thinks about all the movements that we experience with the heliocentric model. Orbital mechanics is something that doesn't seem to jive with the heliocentric model. I remember listening to, what's his name from Globebusters, the one that's always e-begging and getting himself in trouble. What's his name?
I know the one you're talking about.
I love that old video, and I don't think it exists anymore.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask some questions about it because, who that you talk to in everyday life, or even on here for that matter, is well-versed in orbital mechanics? How could you possibly conceive that that's your belief if you don't even know how it works in a general sense, let alone, in any kind? I mean, they fool everybody. They make it so complicated, but
Yeah, they make it so tricky to understand that people just accept when you tell them without looking into it. That's why so many people just get told about, all these big technical words and all these big scary things, and okay, I'll just accept it rather than looking into it. I'll just have a brief understanding and I won't actually look into it.
But, so far as me proclaiming myself as a possible globe skeptic, I mean, don't you think that's a fair statement, though?
Not for me, no, because I base myself off observations and proof.
But no, I meant for me.
I see proof. For you, sure, if that's what you think, but that's you. I don't know you.
Let me ask a better question. My apologies. Okay, so did you hear what I was talking about? Like, if I was really intellectually honest with myself, I couldn't technically call myself a flat earther. And
yeah, I think
because I haven't done those observations for myself.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get you. I mean, it depends if. I mean, I haven't done like the laser stuff, but I've done long distance observations. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you should. Yeah, maybe you should look into doing those certain things. But I mean, it can be difficult to get your hands on a laser or something.
Well,
but
I might not even have to get that drastic because I used to live in Illinois, which is flatter than a pancake, like Kansas too, I think. But now I live in Missouri, and the terrain, the topography is so drastically different. I literally feel like driving video game. It's so bizarre. Like it's crazy. So anyway, my cousin just told me about. It's like a half hour away from me. Maybe I don't know, something like that. It's a high elevation observation point. I'm like, yes. So, what that means is that it's documented probably on how high it is. And then I'm sure there's another state park within this somewhat couple hours or whatever vicinity, maybe 50 miles. I don't know. But yeah, it's something that has been on the table in my thoughts. But, just recently moved other things, life gets to you and everything. But yeah. So,
I understand
definitely.
What you're saying about you've not done some of the things that you're claiming, but when it comes
I don't claim anything.
I don't honestly. I mean, like flat Earth claims, and you're saying you're a flat earther, so you might be a globe skeptic. I get what you're saying, but I would certainly not call my globe skeptic because I cannot debunk any of the things that I haven't done, like the laser test. Like so although I may not have witnessed the laser test, or I may not have been to one or done one myself, I'm still going to accept it because in no way, shape or form can I go against it. I can't explain it on anything but a flat plane. So I don't think, for things like that are a little bit difficult, do them if you can, but if you can't, try to debunk it, and if you can't, that's telling you something.
What more I thought of is that, what caused me to question what I was, talking about is that, some flat earthers, they make the very bold statement and they say, well, I know it's flat. And so that's kind of where I was getting at with the intellectual honesty portion, because, then at some point, if you get a crafty glober on you, they're going to corner you and say, well, what have you done for yourself?
Yeah.
So I just think it's smart, and I don't know. Just something I've been thinking about for a while.
Globe skeptic, because globe skeptic means you're skeptical. Like, it might. Well, yeah. Sorry, I put the words out loud and I realized what I was saying.
No, you're good.
Yeah, sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. I started saying the wrong thing.
I hate that.
Yeah, I was thinking one thing and saying another, and then I've lost track of all thought that I was going to say.
And now we've built it up too much. Hopefully you'll get it back.
Maybe.
No.
Might do.
But anybody else want to jump in on opinions or anything?
I've got an opinion. Well, Soda, you're a dirty glober and you know it.
That's not what exactly I had in mind, but thank you for playing.
Sorry, who said that?
Can I have the first pick of that series so I can show her that the mountain is in full view in the second one?
Yeah,
sorry, who said-
listen,
who said this thing?
where
What was it?
the point of the Mount Rainier image is that
And
we
it
should
shouldn't
not.
look at the information. That's, I mean, I don't want to.
No, Sassy, I did listen. You said that it was refraction or atmospheric conditions, but how can atmospheric conditions and refraction cause 8,000 feet of mountain to be hidden?
Actually,
if you can,
actually, Soda, no one said that. And what we told you yesterday was to question the information that you were given, and to ask the person who gave you that information to give you the viewer height, the conditions on that day, so you can make an accurate observation and come to a conclusion off of all of the information and not part of the information. I also told you and pointed out yesterday that the pictures that you proposed were taken from two different positions, and trying to line them up and compare them when they're not taken in the same spot is dishonest. So that's what you were told yesterday to do. And you're bringing it up like it's like we're the ones that are being dishonest about it. We're not. We're telling you to question the information you're given because it doesn't add up. And that's something you should want to do, because if you're going to be a globe skeptic, that's fine. But when the information presents itself and it's found to be faulty, you shouldn't want to run with that and propose that as something of a proof, because it just makes you look bad.
Okay, so Sassy, fine, I'll concede there. But where do you suppose that the 1,000 feet of mountain are hidden then? What do you suppose is hiding that?
They're not hidden, Soda. You showed a picture of one that was taken at 150 feet away, which is going to show more of that mountain. And then the other picture that was shown was taken at only 55 feet, probably on the water, and it was zoomed in. And when you compare the two, if you're going to look at the topography, it should be taken from the same location and matched up. And that's not the case, because in that 55, out foot away from the mountain, you can see a little island that birds are on, and you can tell that it's zoomed in on the water, which is kind of deceptive, and nobody likes deceptive views on flat Earth. And you can see in that photo, there's no mountains in that photo, not because it's hidden behind curvature, it's because it's taken at different positions.
The whole point, though, the fact is that they are taken at different positions. And the mountains don't change in size ever, so why would it matter what time of day the photo was taken at?
I didn't say time of day, I said position. When you're going to make a comparison photo, you should be matching up all of the markers in that photo towards the topography, like how you see that there are, a little island in that photo on the right-hand side. There's trees in that photo on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side. Do you see the little mountain that the little bird is on in that left-hand photo? No, you do not.
Because at different positions.
And that's the issue with the photo. You can't have an accurate comparison if you're not exactly lining up visual markers in the photo and then trying to use that as a proof. It disproves what you're trying to prove in the first place.
No, the point of the image is why are thousands of feet of mountain hidden, and no one has addressed that yet.
We all have addressed that with you pointedly. And if
I've gotten multiple different answers from multiple different people. I'm not sure how am I to know like who I should believe in? At the end of the day, it's up to me to figure out this for myself. But
right,
I know.
And so
But
what
you
would
gotta
you
figure
do
out which
to
one makes
investigate
more
it?
sense. Look into everything you're saying and figure out which makes more sense.
One thing is too that if you're not thinking that it's flat and you're thinking that things are hidden because of, let's say, curvature or something.
Not today, guys. Not today.
Somebody got sniped.
So,
sorry, everybody.
So how would you go about proving it for yourself, Soda? What would you do at this point with the information that you've been given?
Well, see?
Huh?
Right now, what we're gonna have to do is move on to a different example because this one isn't. This one clearly isn't good enough for you guys. Probably get the observer hide.
No. It's not about it being good enough for us, Soda, because you're the one that's trying to make this observation and prove it for yourself. So that's why I'm asking, how would you then go about investigating the information that you were given? Would you go on a trip? Would you find more photos that you can compare that are at the same distances? That's basically what I want to know.
Yeah, you're right. I'll have to
There's your trees.
But yeah, I just want to know where the mountain is. That's all I'm trying to say. Where's the curve? Where's the hidden mountain? Yeah, what's up?
I was wondering if you would go outside and you want to prove for yourself what the shape of the Earth would be like, or you know what I mean. What would you do for tests that you would think would help you out?
Well, I know there's at-home tests that you can do to calculate the circumference of the Earth. I've seen those before, but I'm not too sure about those. I've you can take there's a way to do it. It's not because I know Eratosthenes did it, but there's a lot of problems with that. But there's ways you can do it at home, and I've looked into them before, but I've thought about doing it, but I'm not sure about them. But yeah, no, that's all I'm thinking.
And if you would have a set of binoculars and then looking over water and see if you can see certain things at certain distances. If you thought about is that possible in your area?
I live near a thing of water. My grandparents have a lake though at their house that I could go to.
Right. Because it might help to do things for yourself, go out for yourself, instead of just seeing things that are being posted online and following one picture or another video, and it's still in the end you will never know until you do it yourself, isn't it?
Good point.
Yeah, I'm actually saving up money right now for a weather balloon. I'm gonna launch it in
That's really cool.
Base, and I'm going to attach a camera to it so we can all see it, and I'm not going to edit it or anything. And we're going to see, and we are going to see if there's a curve or not. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to present it to you guys.
We'll see, of course, if that will happen.
Just make sure you get the right permission, because last thing you want is to release it in an area where a plane's going to go by and you take down a plane of 150 people.
Hey, Soda, are you familiar with one of the most notable high-altitude amateur balloon? Well, not really. He's not an amateur anymore, but...
Little Piggy?
No. Dwayne Kellum. He has dozens of balloon launches, if memory serves, and he goes through all the processes of the equipment that he uses and things like that. So he's very transparent with what he does. And he has some absolutely amazing footage. So if that's an interest of yours, that's my recommendations, if you don't mind me suggesting.
Yeah, of course.
I can find the YouTube channel. Hold on, and I'll link it, okay?
But yeah, no, guys, I'm sending a weather balloon myself. I'm a personal researcher. I'm going to do this, and we will see if there's any curve or not. And if I see, so let me ask you guys a question. If I see curvature, what are you guys gonna say?
It doesn't matter. It's what you think about it.
I would say you saw that. That's really cool. And then
I would love. Oh,
to
sorry.
see pictures or something from it, but definitely.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to see what you bring back if you do feel that you found curvature, Soda, and it's your footage. I would absolutely love you to come and share that with us so we could look at it. Because honestly, we've seen so much footage now over the times, and there's always a logical explanation for when someone says, "I have footage of curvature." So we would need, and hopefully you would know what kind of lens to be using and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert.
So I'll bet you $1,000 you won't see the curve.
You want to bet on it right now?
You're gonna waste your money so bad.
Well,
it's like when I was still
Soda, I believe the highest that Dwayne Kellum got in his many flights, I think it was like over 120,000 kilometers or feet. I'm so sorry. It's been a while since I've looked at his footage. But he is one of the highest that anyone has ever been in a balloon. And it's, there's some that argue that they see curvature, but from my little bitty eye, it looks pretty flat from way up there.
And not even from out of the sky, even just being on the ground, it looks very horizontal to me. Since I've been at the ocean, and back then it looked horizontal with no curve, and then I changed my world view, and it still looks the same. So it's not like when I was a Glover I saw a curve, and now it's flat and I see a flat line or anything. It's always been a flat line. So, no curve.
I mean, shit, if it's completely verifiable what lens you're using, and we physically cannot debunk your photo, and we know that it's not been edited, we put it through software, then shit. Proof is proof, right? Proof is in the pudding. If you can prove to us what lens you're using, we run it through software, make sure you're not edited or anything, proof's there. But just don't get your hopes up too high.
I was just thinking, I think so far Ladies' Night is an ultimate success. I think it's really awesome.
It's always
It is. Plus, I enjoy meeting the men. Sorry, who spoke that was male?
I said it's always awesome listening to the
Mute. Loving it. Unless you're a baller, male, female baller, you keeping quiet.
I so appreciate Sassy yet again recollecting on just a short time ago. She said, "Oh no, not tonight." That was really great.
Yeah, I just want to address breaking down the wall of lies real quick. He said that he traced that image. I want to know more about what you found when you
I'd like
traced
to
that
talk
image.
about the image. I'd like to talk about the image for a minute with you. The two images, the one that keeps popping up.
How do I get
where
in the
there's
Ladies' Night channel?
You're already in there. Can I just finish what I was saying, please?
Hi, Terikatsi.
I'm just talking to Soda.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Becky.
Yeah,
and
so Soda.
I posted a photo for you, Becky, so that you might, she might have something to look at when she's trying to understand what I'm saying about the dishonesty of the photo and it not matching up.
All right. So all I wanted to say about this is, because I'm really more a layman's terms type of person. these two photos that we're looking at that Sassy's just uploaded of the same place, the one on the left is taken quite close to the mountain and quite close to the trees. So we get a really good, clearer a picture of those trees because we're closer up. The one on the right is taken much further away. So there's a lot of atmosphere between where the picture is taken and where the mountains and the trees are. So there's it's going to cause that distortion, and it's also going to look differently because of how far away it is. Now, what they've done is they've printed those two photos in that square frame of the same. So they've just cut them out, put them side by side, and I that's what I'm saying. Am I wrong, Sassy? Is that what's happening here?
I'm sorry, I missed your last sentence.
Am I right? Is the photo on the left taken far closer to the mountains than the photo on the right?
Yes, it sure is. It's taken on the water at only 50 feet away from the mountain, as opposed to the other one, which is taken on a lake that's 150 miles away.
Okay, so that's why they look so differently, and the reason why it's got that distortion, or I don't even know how to explain it, that is because we've got all that atmosphere, and you imagine all the salt, like even when you go to the beach, you can taste the salt in your mouth when you're walking along the beach because we've got all that salt in the atmosphere and everything else that goes with it in over that water. So that's why we've got that distortion of the mountain. So that photograph doesn't prove anything but flat Earth to me.
You're right. And one of our Flat Earth fellows, Breaking Down the Wall of Lies, has posted the photo of that location that shows the little island that I was talking about in the photo with an accurate distance measurement to that mountain. And you can clearly see that when taken at the right height and angle, as opposed to the other one, which is meant to deceive, that you don't see any real difference between the two. You actually could line that photo up with the other one and compare them and know that they should be hidden behind miles and miles of curvature, and they're not. The fact that they're both visible at that distance shows you that, we don't live on a globe Earth, we live on a flat Earth, and that the people, who put out that article meant to, throw off people looking into flat Earth to keep them from, knowing the truth. One person might just look at it and take a glance, oh, these flat earthers are crazy. Hit pieces are often done on flat earthers for that very reason, because a person who's not really interested in the truth or it feels it doesn't matter won't take a second look. They won't investigate it far enough. And that's what they're betting on.
Yeah. Look, I count this as a blessing that we've got Soda coming here to talk to us about all these things that the Globers are giving to her as proof of a globe. Because if we can sit down and discuss this with Soda, we can work through this together. And everybody that's listening, that's been given the same kind of information that Soda's been given now from these Globers, can sit back and listen, and we can explain all this together.
Here. I love that. Because everybody's on their own journey, and we're all in this together. Same team. Absolutely.
Amen. Same team.
Yeah. Am I allowed to answer Soda, or do you want me to keep quiet?
I'm passionate about our youth not being deceived, and when they come into flat earth understanding, I want them to be confident in that. I don't want every time something comes up, a question that stumps them in a moment, that they get thrown off and they're unsure about what they know to be true by their own observations. Because it really is, self-evident, the things that you see on a day-to-day basis, and trusting your senses is the very foundation of that, Soda. So, keep coming with your questions. keep, searching for the truth, and it's going to find you. I mean, out there is where you're going, is your whole classroom. Out there is your whole science classroom. You don't even have to go to a body of water. You could find a mile marker where you live, like we both live in Texas, and do the calculations as to how far it is to that mile marker and whether or not you should see curvature at your height. So that's well within your reach to do, even if you can't get by a body of water to do it over a completely flat surface. Don't be so easily swayed by the opinions of Globers. So bring anything that they give to you here, and we're more than happy to work through it with you, because I really want you to be confident when you say that you're a flat earther.
Yeah, that is the key. Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, let me just address some things that are being said in the live stream. Can you guys just stop with the false accusations? So does the new co-show, this and that. Like, you don't know me personally, okay? I know a couple people got muted in here. I'm just trying to ask questions and learn more about the globe and the flat earth. So if anyone in here has a problem with that, then I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to be a liar or a troll or this and that. I've addressed this before, and this is the last time I'm going to address it. So please stop with the false accusations and the name calling and the bullying, because honestly, this is not high school. This is a Discord full of adults, and you guys are acting like children right now. So stop.
And you have the backing of the moderators on where you stand. So if you have any issues, just bring it up through the right channels, is what I got to say. We don't have time for drama. You don't get to decide where she is in her journey and what she wants to investigate or research or what have you. We should not be attached to labels. That's ridiculous. I mean, we do use labels, but you can't be getting all upset with people because of what they choose to believe. If you disagree with someone and you feel like you're not getting through, then you just have to say, I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you and change a topic. I mean, or go do something else or something.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Because I don't know, I just feel like a lot of false things are being thrown around here. I'm just trying to question the narrative and learn more about it. And apparently a few people in here have a problem with that. And I apologize if that's wrong. I just want to ask questions and get some other perspectives in here, see what you guys have to say, because I enjoy talking to you guys. And I really wouldn't come back here every day if I actually cared about what you have to say. So yeah. The problem with the flat earth deal was I kind of jumped into it a little too quickly, I guess. And I kind of got thrown this flat earth tag on me. And so then I was kind of scared to ask questions pertaining to the globe model because I had this flat earther tag on me. And when I was like, well, I don't want these people to think that I'm a glober. But now that the tag's been ripped away from me, it's time to come out of my shell and start asking some questions and start questioning the narrative a little more. So yeah,
this is what I got out of. This is what I got out of with you coming at it from a globe perspective. I think it makes sense to have the understanding of both sides of the argument, and considering, those types of topics were never discussed in school. I think it's fair that, because I do that myself. Like when a certain topic comes up, I'll ask somebody, in here and say, well, what is the globe believer, sorry for the term, the globe answer for that question? I do that all the time. So, yeah, don't apologize for asking questions. I don't believe in that for sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at it from another point of view, maybe. But yeah, no, I'm not trying to be a liar here, for sure, though.
Hey, did I cut out at all? Did you hear?
I think.
Yeah, we heard you, Jen. Well said.
Oh, okay. I just was debating on whether or not to restart my phone or something because on my end it's acting weird. But okay, so cool. Sorry, Soda, you were trying to say something.
Saying that's the last time I'm going to address that. I just want to ask questions and learn more about this.
Yeah, you're not responsible for other people's reactions, Soda, for sure. Just
Yeah.
do a
Take everything you
screenshot.
do with a pinch of salt.
Just do a screenshot and send it to moderators. That's what they're here for.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jen. Yeah, and if anyone's going to bully people on our server, please message me and let me know what's going on, because I'm not going to have that kind of attack on people's persons here. It's not fair. And just because someone believes different to you does not give you the right to harass them or attack them, especially sending them private messages.
Yes.
Yeah, don't PM someone without the permission unless it's a moderator or an admin.
So yeah, zero tolerance policy on bullying. Now that we got that covered. It's snack time.
Definitely. It should have always been covered. I mean, it's a human decency thing.
Yes.
Everyone's allowed their opinion, but when you're using it to do sorry, I'm trying to do something. Yeah, everyone's allowed their opinion on people, but when you're using it to gang up and bully, it's not okay.
No personal attacks are allowed.
So, I see some new people, and I've unmuted Celeste. I don't know if you can hear us or not, but you have control of your microphone. So, do you have any questions for the ladies of Flat Earth?
Why does it exist?
Why does what exist?
Flat Earth.
How did you find us?
Invited.
Okay. Is that
you must
personal?
have joined for a reason. So why did you join?
Because I was invited and I said, well, why not?
Okay, so why did you join the live stream and why did you choose to reply when Sassy spoke to you?
Chose to reply because I felt like it.
Okay. Is there anything you want to ask about Flat Earth? That's reasonable?
Yes. I don't know if my question was clear, but why does it exist?
Why does Flat Earth exist? I'm sorry, but can you be more elaborate?
Alright. So
He might be
basically,
referring to the resurgence.
yes, people thousands of years ago believed the earth was flat, right? Most people after that, when multiple people proved it was wrong, then people all of a sudden when internet came around, started to get
hold
popular
on.
again.
What people proved it?
Tons of scientists.
Who? Because I can say that tons of scientists have proved that the sky is green. Who proved it?
Those proper scientists. They get their PhDs.
Because if they've proved that this massive ball that we're living on, I mean, their names deserve to be known, right?
Aristophanes.
Do you know who Aristophanes is? No?
I got the idea that that guy left and somebody else says Aristophanes, and it's like,
I would say he was really new to the topic.
yeah.
Just a little bit.
Okay. So we'll move on with I'm them for in. You have control of your mic. Welcome to Ladies Night on 24/7 Flat Earth Discord. Do you have a question for a Flat Earth woman?
We don't bite.
I didn't even know it was ladies' night. I'm so impressed.
Well, welcome.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I'll play my position today. Trust me. No out of remark jokes. Don't worry.
We have a smart man right here. Do you have a question for everybody or anyone?
It's Vagabond. I muted him. He's a flat earther. I muted him.
Oh. I was seeing somebody else's icon then, maybe.
I'm them for in. You have the floor. If not, we will try to move on to someone else. Oh, Celeste is back. Celeste, would you like to clarify your question about flat Earth before we move on?
Celeste, if you're still here, I recommend highly that you research what you think you believe before questioning it. Because it sounds like you're not entirely sure on what you believe. You think that it's this ball, but you don't know how to prove it. So I highly suggest you look into it before coming into such a serious server. It's good that you know what you believe in and you know how to prove it.
How far does the firmament go? The container.
If I may, I really apologize for answering your question with a question. But by any chance, do you happen to know what the word scientism means?
No.
I mean, I'm not an expert on the topic or anything. I mean, I would have to look up the definition, but basically what it means is that the idea of science where it's observable, testable, and repeatable, it's migrated into some sort of fantasy story where you have a theory based on a theory based on a theory. And, you know, when I fully realized that for myself, I really had an epiphany, I have to confess. So for anyone who's new, someone named Robbie Davidson, he did a excellent documentary and it was called Scientism Exposed. If there's any guys in here listening that's a member of 24/7, can you guys find that maybe?
Okay, I'll try to find it for you.
See, the thing is, you know, what a lot of people new to the topic do is they'll point out different things and they'll try and figure it out. And, you know, they don't get one thing and then they move on to the next. It's kind of like, forgive me for the reference, but like a monkey swinging from a tree, just asking question after question without realizing, you know, or understanding the first question. But, so a different angle you could take, you know, is realize that you've not been told the entire truth. And this is across a lot of different topics, and a lot of people are believing in conspiracy theory. But the odd thing is if you look at it from the other side, then that the people who don't believe in conspiracy theory, they're coincidence theorists. Because there's so many things that have not been disclosed to the general population and therefore allowed them to form their opinion. So a lot of people think about flat Earth as a crime against humanity. So this is a very serious topic for people. So with that, if the person who is asking their question, if you have any comment on that, or if you want to continue with the previous question, I know a lot of people in here would not mind talking about it. So thanks everybody for letting me go on. Appreciate it. Oh. I just don't trust my internet today. Are you guys okay with me?
Yeah, we hear you. Yes, we hear you.
Okay.
So I'm not sure
sorry
who
if I
asked
talk
that
too much.
question. The person that asked that question, if you wouldn't mind responding, that would be great.
Sorry, I'm cooking.
Who it was
right now. Well, I understand, like, I need to look more into it. I'm still new to the topic.
Well, that's nice of you to say that. Because that's being honest with yourself.
Yeah, I understand, like, with, because I was a globe earther, I'm a globe earther. I recognize that you can't see the curvature. And especially for miles, you can see where you shouldn't be able to.
Yes,
and I know
absolutely.
that they've been lasered. But the one thing I'm trying to grasp is the idea of a container, that you need a container for gas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to let go of the theory of gravity to understand that. I'm still I'm still wrestling with it.
Well, not every flat earther believes in a barrier, and I would say that we understand that there is a barrier because the only way to have gas pressure that we know of in the natural world is if it's contained by something. Now, when you think about gas itself, such as helium or petroleum, etc., those gases are underneath the ground. They're contained, and we actually have to siphon them to bring them above level. So they're already pre-contained in their own little bubble. So, there's no loss between that and observing that in the natural realm that we live in.
Wow.
When we release helium or petroleum from the ground, you still have to do it to where you can capture it in a container, or else it will disperse. It will go all over the place. And the reason I'm using those two examples of like helium or, kerosene or gasoline or what have you is you can see that one is more liquefied and one is more in a gaseous state. And we use them in two different ways. They're two different consistencies, but they still have an evaporation rate, right? And so when those gases evaporate because they're not being contained, they go up into a bigger, they reach the level of the container, and they recycle themselves. So they get so high, and then they're so spread apart because of how vast this container is, that they end up coming back down to the ground, and they follow a natural cycle. Would we have those dynamics happening if we didn't have a container? I would say no, because every observation and understanding that we have about gases and liquid gases, such as water, when it evaporates and turns into a gas, it has three states to it, a solid, liquid, and a gas. And it goes through a cycle and it returns back to the earth in different consistencies. And we see this over and over again. We actually never see an instance where it escapes and never returns to the earth. It actually, has a cycle that it goes to, and it has done so for a very long time. So in that, you don't need gravity or anything like that, because those dynamics keep that system going.
Well said.
Thank you.
What the heck?
So did you have any questions about anything I said, or maybe another question you might want to ask, or anyone else that's here? I see a lot of people dropping in, and we will get with you in just a second. We need a little bit of time to unmute.
You can pass it off to somebody else.
I have a quick question as a response to that incredibly beautiful statement.
Yeah, I agree.
It's something that I touched on a little bit earlier. I was just, excuse me. Is there not a large, like as in part of the atmosphere, bubble of water? Like I've heard it condense down to like approximately 10 meters if you were to condense it into a small space. Could that not be a bubble in itself?
A bubble as in what? And when you say 10 meters, you mean of liquid, solid? What exactly are you proposing?
Yeah, excuse me. I didn't speak very well. I just recently learned that it's okay. Like I cannot verify this. This is something I heard from someone recently. That if you were to take all the water in the atmosphere and, for lack of a better word, squish it all together, it would be approximately 10 meters thick. Could that not act as some sort of barrier?
10 meters? Do you mean in an area around you, or do you mean 10 meters in the whole of Earth?
10 meters, as if because it's obviously not like a little 10-meter thick, wide bubble. I mean, like it's spread out over. I'm not sure.
Well, can I just say, when I was going out yesterday morning, the fog here, the moisture, the fog was so thick that I could look directly at the sun. And may I add, the sun looks just like the moon. It is a white, round shape, it looks like this around about the same shape as the sun too.
That's an incredible point. Okay, I guess I have two questions again. If anyone, I want to hear your answers, and I don't really want to interrupt. But yeah, number one, that water that is inside of the atmosphere, that could technically act as a bit of a bubble or a barrier. But also that point you brought up, Becky. What are the chances of the sun and the moon being almost exactly the same shape when they're so?
I know.
The distance is
Coincidence theory. I call
and they
coincidence theory.
And they're both white too. The sun's white when you look directly at it. When there's enough filter and enough fog or smoke, that's the other time I've seen the white sun. When the bushfires were here early in the year, I looked directly at the sun, and it was and I thought it was the moon. It looked just like the moon, but it was the sun, and it's white.
Yeah, and the chemtrails don't help either.
Yeah,
so it's obviously the atmosphere making it that or get all those beautiful other colors, shades of the oranges and yellows.
And plus, I swear to you, 2 years ago, I was able to see a more blue sky. Now it's like a consistent, really light blue color, not like deep.
I want to agree with that. Jen, because I think that I remember a bluer sky too.
It's such a shame. I know, because I have a picture I've taken. I mean, it was definitely way bluer. And
do you guys know about that NASA article?
Just to interject really quick, ladies, there was someone just messaged me. Could have moved them to voice checking room, but Realistic Raisin messaged me and said, "Can I have permission to speak? Do you want to check them in here, or do you want me to check them in?"
Why not?
In the chicken room. Yeah, well, we can unmute. Realistic Raisin sounds like this person wants to talk to the ladies. I'm not gonna.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm kind of new to the flat Earth. I'm kind of new to it, and I have some questions about it.
Go ahead.
So I've been confused. How do GPSs work? Because because I used to be believe the Earth was a globe, but then I found out it was all lies.
If I may answer, that question is a topic that brought me to Flat Earth. That we don't have GPS tracking for Southern Hemisphere flights. And so, also flight paths are really interesting and doesn't seem to make sense. So I just wanted to pop in with that. Everybody else can question.
Also, I saw some flat earthers believe that that Australia is fake. Is that true?
No, that's a troll. I'm actually an Australian flat earther, believe it or not. And I just want to make a point on that matter that we bring that up now. I believe the reason that they are saying that and spreading that disinformation is if people came over here to address the claims of flat earth, they would find that Australia is the most flattest inhabited continent on earth, and you can come here and you can go to the most flattest planes in the world and see for, as far as the atmosphere will allow, but, flat plains for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometres. We have the transatlantic train line that runs for 400 kilometres in a straight line through I think it's the Nullarbor Plain. I mean, this place is as flat as it gets. So I believe that they've deliberately brought that meme out onto the internet to get people to look away from Australia.
And this is speaking for someone who actually knows it's not a globe and that it's flat. Somebody who's gone out and done their own observations. Becky K from Australia, someone who I admire. So yeah, thanks, Becky.
Thanks, I admire you too, Jen.
Well, I have a question for Becky then on that front. Like, how would Becky respond to the accusation that there's no GPS in Australia?
Well, okay. Well, this is very simple, and again, I speak in layman's terms, guys. So if you get more technical, I won't know how to respond. But basically, what I believe, and I'm going to read directly from a meme I just brought up. In the real world, GPS is a ground positioning system, and the position is determined from the intervals between signal pulses received from widely spaced transmitters. So that's something that I personally believe is a thing. So yeah, that's just how I'm going to answer that question.
You're 100% correct. You're 100%.
I have one last question.
But I would say it's
Shoot, hang on. Sorry, mate. It's a ladies' night. Shoot for your question.
Okay. So what is there is there an ice wall, and if so, what's beyond it?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. Well, we can only speculate. Does anybody else want to speculate on this? And any ladies? Go for it.
Okay, so my first question in response, so forgive me with yet another question to answer someone's question. How did you come about to know that there's allegedly an ice wall, if I may ask that?
Oh, yeah, I've researched it a little bit.
Right, I gathered that, but how did you come about knowing that? What person spoke about it?
Oh, I just looked on the Twitter and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if somebody's talking about interesting topics, I'd love to follow somebody on Twitter. I mean, who do you follow on Twitter, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, it's the Flat Earth Society.
Oh, that's great.
I just like to jump
That's
in on
great.
that.
You know why? Because we don't ascribe to anything that they do. So that's great that got brought up.
That's what I was gonna say when you said your first thing about Australia not existing. I wanted to jump in after Becky. Flat Earth Society. I knew as soon as you said that, that's where you got your information from. Flat Earth Society are a controlled opposition. They're put in place so they say stupid things, so people hear them and go, "Fuck that! It's not flat. Those people are stupid." So they say things like, "We have members all around the globe."
Yep.
And the Australia doesn't exist, and we're on a pancake floating upwards through space. Now, I don't know whether you've ever seen, but about 3-4 so many years ago, I can't remember, Barack Obama actually mentioned and addressed all flat earthers as the Flat Earth Society. So they're put in place so people it's all a plot. They're put in place so people laugh at flat Earth rather than look into it, which is why flat Earth has become such a meme.
There's players on the world stage, everybody. It's a big picture involved.
So never, ever, ever believe anything that the Flat Earth Society say. You coming here is your best source of information right now, because we are legit flat earthers. And we will tell you, we won't tell you to believe what we say is gospel truth. We'll tell you to research it for yourself.
Earth means soil.
But yeah, never trust the Flat Earth Society.
Also, does the Flat Earth have layers?
Well, we can't verify that because we've only dug down 8 miles. So why are these people saying that we have a core and all this nonsense when no one's ever observed that in their life before? They've literally only dug 8 miles.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There's no relevant information that proves that there is a molten core. It's all, again, it's things that we can't verify, we can't prove, we just have to believe it as truth because they say so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions.
Hey, thanks for coming.
More, feel free to ask them again, jump in and ask your question. We have loads of archives that you can look through if you scroll down. We have things all the way from NASA, moon landings, to observations that you can do yourself. But if you want to speak to someone, jump in here and ask your questions. We'll always be here.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really get the whole crust core, the different layers of the Earth narrative. I don't really understand that. It's not that I don't understand it. It's just I don't get why we're supposed to believe in these different layers of the Earth when we can't observe it. No one's observed it. Like, why? How did they even come up with that idea? Like, I don't get it.
You just have to believe what they say is true.
Exactly. I never really understood the Earth's layer. Well, I mean, I get them fine. Like, I know what they are or what they're supposed to mean, but just I never got why they're there. Like, I don't know. Didn't really make sense to me.
Well, because it plays into their model. It plays into the floaty space ball and gravity, etc. Like, it plays to their need.
The math.
That's it. And it's not verifiable, so we don't have. We're not able to prove it, so they're gonna say it, so we can't do anything about it. But joke's on them because they can't prove it either.
Yeah, joke's on them. Yeah, Crack Milano, it's ladies' night, bro. Yeah, the same muted, man.
Yeah. I do want to ask, I do want to jump in and say it is a known fact that the lower down you go, like back when mines were a thing and people were in mines, etc., the lower down you go, the hotter it does get. It could just be, the pressure of dark gravel running about you causes heat, whatever, I don't know. But yeah, you ask anybody who works in mines or, used to, any grandparents that you've got that worked in mines or whatever, it is hotter the lower you go down. But there's other reasons, there's other explanations for that.
Has anybody tried to talk to Celeste or
Yeah.
Scarlet Glory?
Yeah, we did, and they went quiet, so we're kind of just like letting them listen.
Hey, girl, welcome back.
Hey, hon, how are you doing? So everything going good over here? No glow people coming in?
Yeah.
No?
We have some. We're about to unmute a couple more to ask them questions. Hopefully, they won't blow our eardrums off. So
I'll try to be here as much as I can. I have to dip in and out, but I definitely will try to be here, guys.
Okay.
Not a problem, love. Take care.
Garlic Glory, you have control of your mic. Would you like to ask one of the Flat Earth ladies a question?
Yes.
Hi, to the server. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. All right, so I'm kind of skeptical about the entire flat Earth thing, but I would just like to ask: is it theoretically possible to walk off the side of the Earth? Like, that might be a stupid question, but I'm like for real asking.
It's okay. Can you look up the universe? Can we see the entire Earth and measure it to even see if there is an edge in the first place? No, because they keep us. So is there an edge? I don't believe there's an edge, but there might be one, maybe for you.
My claim is, and many flat earthers in this server, our claim is that Earth is the floor, it's the foundation, it's the slab, so we can't fall off the floor.
All right, and I just have one more question. Do you believe the Earth is like in a cylindrical shape or is like a rectangular prism type of shape? If you get what I'm saying.
All right. Bro, really?
So
yeah, I'm just asking.
What some flat earthers have proposed, and we're not saying this is a definite model or anything like that, but we live on the top of a flat surface of a circle, and that we live in the center of that circle, and the outer edges where we would presume the ice wall keeps in all of the oceanic water that we have here on the plane. Now, we can't confirm that, but all indications from past civilizations, as well as our current understanding and information, shows that we're in a closed system, a pressurized system, and that we live out on the very floor of that system, and everything you see above you is out, either in that system and is, going around us on an elliptical, or outside of that. Now, we can't confirm or deny anything outside of this pressurized system. So it would be like taking an egg and cutting it in half and disposing of the top or the bottom half, whichever one you want to say. And then the flat part of it is the part that we live on. And it's
Which
hollowed
some
out,
say
and
it's a
that's
realm.
where our air and our atmosphere and all of those things are taking place. So if one of the guys could post a picture of the Hebrew cosmology, that would be helpful so we can give him a visual.
All right, thank you for that.
Yes. People that believe in what you were talking about a moment ago, they would be under the concession that we live in a realm, right? Or
yeah, many people call it by different names. I say a realm because realm is kind of synonymous with Rome, kind of like you roam the plane.
The reason why it makes sense to me is that the idea of aliens, I mean, allegedly people have had real encounters with aliens, whatever. But I don't think they came from outer space, quote unquote. It makes sense to me that they came from outer lands. So, I don't know. That's kind of wacky to bring that up like that, but I know a lot of people believe in aliens, but
as far as I know, we are the only beings on this plane except for animal and plant life. I've never seen an alien. I've only I think people put that in our minds through, the old television, television. And
absolutely.
People, they just draw their own conclusions. Maybe they have seen other Bigfoots or things that they ascribe to aliens, but I've never seen.
So
another reason why I brought it up is because I do like to hear, and I think I recall you being a fan of Martin Kenny, and I just love things that he's collaborated on. I mean, it totally makes sense. So I just find it a fascinating side topic. Let's just say, I like the fact that there's people that are looking into actual books of ancient texts, what have you. I mean, and taking it. So the philosophy that Martin Kenny takes is, and I hope I say this term correctly, syncretism, where you take different aspects from different cultures and you kind of overlay them, and you kind of find the holes in one and not the other, and so it's kind of like a puzzle, piecing it all together. And that's where people have come up with the idea that the idea of it being a realm. But sorry, that's all I want to say. Thanks, everybody.
Can we go back on the aliens topic really quick? So, if they didn't come from outer space, do you believe they came from beyond the realm?
They'd be demons, basically. Oh, sorry, ladies.
Well, there's other people that take a religious aspect to the idea of aliens and, say that they're demons. So there's that too. I've heard that talked about over the years, but I think for the purposes of the live stream, though, it would probably stick it to flat Earth topics. So, I mean, I shouldn't even brought it up, so it's my bad.
So I have a question. Is there like, what's like the diameter of the Earth if it's flat and like?
That's a great question. That's been a big topic on this server for a long time. And that is how the radius was calculated. I mean, so it was calculated, not measured.
Okay. Also, is there more than just 7 continents or something, or like what do we believe here?
Well, it's not anything to believe. We're restricted on where we can travel. We can't really explore.
Yeah, can I just say really quickly, for example...
Absolutely, go, man.
Oh, no, I'm just going to be so quick. Because we can't go to these places, as Jen just said, there's, there's these, what is it? There's a treaty in place, okay? It's very hard to get access to these places. So even if there was more continents, we wouldn't be able to find them.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Why not? They tell us we're free, but in all actuality... none could actually be further from the truth. We gotta pretty much ask when we can wipe our butt.
You are free, you just can't get out of your house.
Well, we're lucky we can wipe our asses with toilet paper. I mean, geez. How sad of a society are we becoming? Not just a society, an existence. Something is not right. It doesn't pass the smell test.
You're free, just wait for the 4th of July.
Does
on Flat Earth
religion have anything to do with it or anything?
Well, 1 second. Let me finish up that question, that previous question. On Flat Earth, we don't try to propose or put models in place of things just because we don't know them. We go with what we know, which is the known places that we've been able to traverse, such as like Australia, Asia, Canada, the US. So all of the known continents, as far as we know, that is all there is. Now, we can speculate all day about whether there's lands beyond the poles, which we have some people who were down in that area exploring a long time ago that say that there possibly is more land. But on Flat Earth, we like to go with what really is rather than our own personal, thoughts. So we just stick to what we can confirm. And we've confirmed those continents and things like that. And we don't go with anything else that we can't confirm, if that makes sense.
That's a great disclaimer, I would have to say.
Yeah. So if you could ask your question again, so maybe like Bambi or anybody else can chime in and answer.
Sure. You want to repeat the question? I'll see if I can throw something else into it. Oh, come on. I'm not that scary. The person that asked their question. What was the question that was asked? No?
Well, if no one's going to ask a question, can I ask?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so the Earth is flat, right? So, because my teacher told me that I'm not that smart for thinking the Earth is flat, and she said, go to a beach, lay down, wait for the sun to go away, and then when the sun goes away, stand back up, and you can see the sun again because of the curvature of the Earth. Is that true?
Okay. Well, first thing I want to address is your teacher saying you're not that smart for saying the Earth is flat. Your teacher should be the one encouraging you to research everything and verify what everyone's saying. You should never take what anyone says to be gospel truth. Your teacher is the one that's supposed to guide you into questioning everything. You're supposed to verify things for yourself, research things for yourself, make sure what you know you can prove to be true.
What you witnessed, what you experienced was called ridicule. And that's what some people do when they're confronted with something that makes them question their beliefs. So, sorry you had to go through that. Don't let that discourage you, like along the lines of what I was saying.
Yeah, you should always question everything. Even what you hear in here, never take it to be truth, just question it. Take it as a note, maybe get a notepad, start hearing the things we're saying, take a note of it, look into it, see if what we're saying is bullshit or true. As for your teacher saying lie down, wait for the sun to set and it'll come back up due to curvature, perspective plays a big part. Your perspective as from lying down to going up, the higher up you are, the more of the sun you're going to see. So it's just due to perspective. It's not got anything to do with the curvature.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just say that P word to your teacher. Just say perspective.
Okay, yeah.
Can I jump in for a second?
Teacher is absolutely...
Can I ask a question?
Sure, you
All right. So back on like the teachers ridiculing the students, how do you feel about the globe Earth kind of theory being taught in the education system?
Yeah. So I don't know about you, but for me personally, it was never a subject in school. It was something that you were never really told. You were told a little bit about it when you were learning about planets, maybe.
Yes.
But you were never told it. It was just there in front of you. You were in your first kind of class when you were young. You were about 5, 6. There was a globe on the front of your book. You always had one of those spinning globes, pictures on the wall. It was just embedded from a young age. You weren't taught or told, like most people
You were
aren't taught the
indoctrinated.
circumference or the radius of the Earth. Like, you don't know that because you weren't taught it. You were just, it was just, like she said, you're indoctrinated. You were just, it was burned into your mind from a young age. It wasn't a class. You don't know anything about what it is you're living on. The majority of the world don't know the circumference and radius of the ball that they're supposedly living on. They just assume it's a ball because, well, it was burned into their mind.
All right. And also another question: do you plan on getting the flat Earth theory taught in schools?
That's never going to happen ever.
Yeah, there are a couple of people in here who are teachers as well. We've got Jen, who's a teacher in Japan.
I have a question about like the season. I have a question about the season. Sorry, my brother's a round earther. So I have a question about the seasons. How do seasons happen?
If you're a flat earther.
Okay, one, you can tell your brother, rather than being arrogant, maybe research it before you question it and shout and scream. That's a bit rude. So maybe, yeah, put your brain to good use and question it. And for this season, is anyone got the meme that explains the what's it called? Equator and stuff like that with the sun moving. Yeah, okay, perfect. Becky put it in. Cheers, Becky. If you look at what Becky's put in, it shows the tropical of Cancer and the tropical Capricorn. It shows you the sun's movement, so the seasons go from the sun sort of moving around, going out and inwards, creating the seasons. If you kind of picture it like that, like it moves in towards the Tropic of Cancer and it moves out towards the Tropic of Capricorn, and that creates seasons.
So, like, can NASA, like, say NASA sends some flat earthers to space to show that the quote unquote Earth is round, would they like put you in a simulation or something?
Okay, about the whole space thing, you have to actually think that there's a space there. I mean, me personally, I don't believe that we have been there and it is even possible to go there, because we always talk about going from A to C, going from Earth to Moon, or going from Earth to Mars. We never talk about the B, the traveling there in the middle. They're saying that they're in a vacuum and you're being able to propel through a vacuum with no medium. And it's physically impossible for a rocket to go through a vacuum. So there's no point in answering that, because it's never going to happen, because that vacuum doesn't exist. We can't exist next to a vacuum within a container. Sorry, go ahead.
And people have been talking about the original moon landing ever since, probably since it happened. And that was, 50 years ago. So for a topic to be something that's would be weak and worthy of ridicule, it's kind of silly that they've been talking about it for so long. So there's some substance to it if you ever look into it. There's a lot of material available for you to look at the moon landings and such. But I really liked what Bambi had to say too.
Yeah, we always go from A to C. We never talk about B.
But anyway, I know a lot of people. Oh, oops, sorry. I know, and plus, I know a lot of people in here prefer to talk about the land that we're standing on rather than what's allegedly up in the sky, because we can't verify space.
I do want to address the simulation thing that you said. And the astronauts and stuff that say they have been there and they've done these things and they're hell bent on it. Possibly that they have been put in VR. We know how realistic VR can be. There's a funny video on the internet of a guy rock climbing, and he thinks it's so realistic he physically goes to take a step and falls on his face. So this VR can be so realistic that it can fully convince you that you have been and done something. So possibly astronauts have been VR, whatever. and they
Wow.
have witnessed this in some form of a simulation. Maybe that's just a theory, no evidence, no proof, but just a theory.
Interesting, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question? Are you suggesting that they had VR on the original moon landing?
Well, I personally, I don't think they've been to the moon. So, you want to rephrase your question?
Well, you don't believe they went to the moon?
Well, no, like I said, if you were listening to me earlier, going from A to C is one thing, but talking about the B part, we can't physically get there. We can't travel through a vacuum.
I mean,
Until
I
we prove
believe
that we can travel through a vacuum, then we haven't been to the moon.
I believe there's a SpaceX launch tomorrow, and I'm actually going to see it. So, where are they going if they're going straight up into space?
Wait.
I love those laughing.
Like, if you're understanding my question here, sorry.
Yes, I get what you're saying. Does anyone want to address that? Because I've been talking quite a bit. Or will
yeah, I'm going to SpaceX tomorrow too. I also live in Florida, and yeah, that's another question I have. Also,
I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, somebody can answer that.
So basically, what you're going to be witnessing is this thing that's being propelled up into the air. It'll go so far that your eyes can no longer see it. Blah blah blah. You can't verify where it is actually going. You just then have to take as proof what they're giving you. I don't know, a video from the outside, a video of this, video of that, pictures of this. You can't physically prove yourself where it is going. You have to take what someone else says as your proof. So that they could, I don't know, land it out in the middle of the ocean somewhere. They could do something with it as soon as it is out of our eyesight. We don't know. Can't prove what they're actually doing with it and where they're going.
And I also believe the mission is manned. So do you believe that the person inside the shuttle is in a VR simulation?
She said it was a theory.
Not a shuttle.
It could be a theory, yeah. They could be in a VR simulation. They could be in on it. It may not be a VR at all. They could be fully in on it and they're just prepared to, I don't know, land in the ocean.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions anyone wants to ask?
How tall would the Earth be then?
How tall? Do you mean like if it's flat going from the top to the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know because with the furthest that we've gone down, even if we're living on a ball, the furthest we've gone down is 8 miles. So we don't know if it goes any further than 8 miles. It could only go 8.5 because we haven't been any further than 8.
What happened to the dinosaurs?
Well, oh god. Anyone else want to take this one?
That's a separate topic from Flat Earth. I mean, if you don't believe in the Big Bang Theory, then that kind of that makes a problem for what we're told about the dinosaurs. So
yeah, like
people
like
here don't necessarily believe in the Big Bang Theory, so not maybe the best place to ask that question.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can ask another question if you want.
Okay.
How could you be
so
dumb?
Noah, shut up. So
hold on, can you? I'm not gonna ban you or anything, but is it possible for Noah to come on the mic just for a second? Just come a little closer so I can hear him.
I don't feel like you're being dragged into this.
I mean, if you're gonna have the balls to shout it, at least come talk to me. I'm a little girl. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hurt you. Come a little closer to the microphone and talk to me. If you've got the balls to shout it in the background, come on.
He's going on the mic.
All right.
Hello,
Why is your
Noah.
headset so quiet?
I'm Bambi.
Look.
Noah, I'm Bambi. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hello. So I'm very proud of you for coming forward and actually speaking to me. Is there anything you want to ask about the Flat Earth?
Yes, I would like to ask, what happens whenever some pictures? So you think they're all CGI, right? All the pictures are CGI, right? You think they're drawings or something?
Well, No, there's even people within NASA. If you look up Robert Simmons, who says that they're
Yes. Oh,
they're
sorry, he's
CGI
really
because
stupid.
They have to be.
Oh,
Yeah. So they say
see,
they're
that isn't
CGI
me.
because they have to. So even people within NASA say that their compositions of other pictures, they're CGI. They're put together.
Okay, well, how about pictures before computers were even powerful enough to process such images?
Well, if we didn't have computers
Interesting.
powerful enough to process such images, how were we able to send a man to a vacuum and be able to survive that? We had technology to do that, but we didn't have the technology.
It is easier to send a man to the moon in the 60s than it is to create a computer powerful enough to create CGI at the
How
time.
they put a man into something that they knew nothing about?
They did not know nothing about it. They
Hey, I
had
have a
already
question for
done
the guy
tests.
talking. Sorry, I don't know it. I'm not looking at my phone at everybody's names. The guy who was talking.
Okay, no, I think
Did you know
I
that,
think you had enough. Okay, he's off the mic. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Just
Okay.
remind him to question everything, and maybe just take a little bit of the attitude away and be polite. But that's his mother's job, not mine. Is there anything you want to ask? Now that you're back on the mic.
Yeah. So basically, all this, like, I've been to the Kennedy Space Center on a field trip for school, and why would they spend so much money on stuff that wouldn't even go to anywhere?
Well, the thing is, you need to understand just how much money they're getting in the first place. They are getting way more. It's like, to me, someone who doesn't have a lot of money, spending your Americans, I'll say dollars, spending $100 can be a lot. But to someone who has got plenty to spare, spending 100 is nothing. So if you've got a shit ton of money, throwing a lot of it, what might seem like a lot to you away, seems like a lot of money and a lot of waste. But if they've got even more, that's $100 to them. That's nothing.
NASA doesn't actually get that much money from the government. NASA only gets like half a cent from the government funding.
Yeah, it's does anyone have the statistics for how much NASA actually take? I know there's a meme for that, but I can't remember if one of the guys can pull it up. But they do take a lot more than you think. They have a lot of money.
It's 52.
Yeah, I know. It's mostly from like sponsorships and like and other things.
And the
Companies
American
supporting
man's
them.
pocket.
Oh, me?
100 million every 33 hours. Wow. They take 100 million every 33 hours. 100 million every 33 hours.
Yeah, 58 million per day.
58 million a day. Thank you. 58 million a day go to NASA. So what are they doing with that? That's a lot of money.
Developing research.
Sorry.
It's expensive to create new technology.
Yeah, we don't have the technology to go back to the moon. Apparently, it was destroyed. So why aren't they recreating that technology?
We're developing new ones, so it's easier and cheaper. So
We're developing new ones. So why haven't we been to the moon since, what was it, Apollo? I don't know what one we're on. 17, 21, 52. What
because there was other more important things going on.
Oh, yeah.
There's more important things. I mean,
By the
we
way,
haven't
he's
seen
in
the
the
other
call.
side of the moon.
By the way, he's in the call.
The Cold War. The Cold War.
His name is
That was
His name is Celeste. That's his name. He's in the call.
Oh, he's the last person. He asked the stupid question of why is flat Earth a thing?
It's not a stupid question.
Well,
No,
the
go
flat
ahead.
Earth is a thing.
Unmute him. Can you unmute him? I'm probably sure he wants to talk because I don't want him screaming in my room.
Okay. There you go. The reason he's muted on his end, by the way. I think.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. So your question of why is the flat Earth a thing? The flat Earth is a thing because we see and observe things that are too far.
You can see things too far. That's the whole
see
base
things
of the
too far.
argument.
Yeah, pretty much. We see things that should be over a curve. We measure no curvature. We see things that should be hidden by curvature, 8 inch per mile square. So things should be hidden by a curvature, but we bring things back into view that should be buried over a curve, which should be impossible to bring back into view, but we do. So we observe things that are too far. We don't feel any emotion. You take your senses. We see too far. We don't feel anything.
Okay.
So
So, and I think you've heard this like 1,000 times already, but the reason why we don't experience motion is because we're moving along with things. So let me give an example. When you're moving in a car and you can't see anything outside, you don't exactly feel like you're moving other than the bumps up and down.
Yeah,
It's
so
not-
that's two different types of motion. So car, you're going in linear motion. That is what that's doing. You're going linear. You're going in a line, linear motion. That's not what they're saying we are doing in the shape of a ball. They say that we are going all these different directions, all round and round. You know, it's insane. It is not the same as linear motion at all.
When you're moving in all these different directions, say the rotation of the Earth, stuck to the Earth by gravity, and your argument saying that the rotation of the Earth should lift you off the ground, right?
Is there a dome?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
So you're saying all these different types of motion, for example, the rotation of the Earth when you're moving along with the rotation.
I'm saying that you should feel something.
You should not feel something because it is
How not?
so because the air. You're saying that the reason why you feel motion is because you're speeding up or slowing down.
Yeah. So if we were to is there a way that we can demonstrate on a smaller scale what we are doing? So like maybe a room that spins and us inside a spinning thing, but there's no smaller recreation of what they say we're doing. So we
Exactly.
Just have
There's
to no, but we just have to believe what they say without verifying it.
It's been verified by other people. I cannot give examples because I don't know.
But asserting that it has been verified without, I suggest you go and look who's verified that because I'm quite interested.
Well, most of the scientists that work at pretty much every agency that is honest.
Yeah, but those agencies have 100,000 people working for them and they all have their own jobs. So it'd be good to find out someone who is an expert in that field and what they say and why they say it. And then I can look into that person and see if what they're saying makes sense or not.
I planned on trying to get a high rank at one of those like workplaces to see if it's all true or not.
Sorry, what did you say at the start? You're planning to get what?
Like get like a high rank in one of those companies and see if it's like they're saying it's lying or not.
It's compartmentalized, that type of, if there's any type of agenda in place.
So I wouldn't be able to know it at all?
Usually that's how it goes.
Okay. So if I got like really high up in NASA, I wouldn't be able to.
If you want to aspire to go with NASA, then more power to you, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, you might want to research NASA a little bit more before doing that, I'd have to say, but...
Yeah. There's a lot of research that goes alongside all of this. And especially when you come into the server with people who know their shit, it's good to come with proof and evidence. So, you know, if you're going to assert something, be sure as hell you're going to be asked to back it up and prove it.
Okay.
What made you believe that honest working people at NASA are lying for doing their experiments?
Well, no. I'm not saying that every single person in NASA, like down from the big corp head company people to the janitors, I mean, some of them are probably legit people who think they're going to work and doing a decent job and doing something good. The high ups are probably the ones that are waving these web of lies and just telling the people below them to do jobs, to do work, to do different things.
What are the...
Sorry, you're lagging for me. I don't know if he's lagging for anyone else.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, you're lagging for me, so I can't hear you.
Who or what are the high ups?
I don't know, people who own NASA, people who
own NASA. The government funds NASA. All other countries contribute to
the government, the people who have control over you. The people who choose what you do and when you do it.
The only government that has control over me is the U.S. government. No other country does, but yet other countries.
Yeah. But that U.S. government controls what you do, everything you do, where your money goes,
where you are, where you go.
You're saying that the government leads me to believe that I need to buy things, right?
Is life a simulation?
I'm just saying that the government are the people who tell you what is what.
So Yeah, they tell me what is what. They also tell
This
me
guy does have a
what.
point, though. This guy does have a good point, though, because there's a lot of independently owned space agencies. So who's to say that those people are lying too, right? Like NASA may be lying, but what about everybody else?
What's independently owned?
Well, yeah, unless what they're saying can be verified.
And there are
Then it's
blue.
irrelevant.
There's Blue Origin. There's SpaceX.
SpaceX is
Boeing.
NASA.
SpaceX contributes to NASA.
SpaceX.
It's paid for by NASA, so the taxpayer.
Love
They're
me
not-
some SpaceX.
They're not paid
Pinto,
for
it's Ladies'
by
Night, bro.
NASA. They are
It's Ladies'
hired
Night.
by NASA.
Oh,
I'm just playing. I don't.
Bye, Felicia.
I don't care who talks. But yeah. Listen.
Still in Ladies' Night. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bambi, let me ask you a question. So you're saying because in regards to the space agency thing, you said that sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. Okay. So you said that you cannot so there's tons of other independent space agencies, but we can't verify them because you just don't want to verify what they said. There's thousands of people who have done their own research on this, and you're just choosing not to believe it because you can't verify it.
Well, again, as I always say, proof, evidence, what I see, what I feel. If I can have proof and evidence that is undeniably has no fault in it, I'll believe it.
Right, you've seen a photo of China before, right?
Hold on. These people are saying that they have traveled through a vacuum with no medium, with a ball that has no gas, that has no barrier between a vacuum and it. So the people who are believing in that, I'm not going to believe what they're saying because, well, that's
crazy.
It's proofs in the pudding.
Yeah, that's fine. I get that. Go ahead, dude. Whoever was talking, go ahead.
No, you can go. You can go.
Oh, no, I was just saying, Bambi, like, you've seen photos of China before, but maybe you've never been there, but you know it's real, right? This is the same kind of logic. Like, people are taking photos of China. Well, how am I supposed to believe these photos?
That's really ignorant to say because someone can come out and go, well, I am from China, and just be like, well, I can go to China if I want to go to China. That option is there for me, but I can't go up and verify. I can't go to the moon. I can't travel through space, can I? I can go to China tomorrow if I buy a plane ticket. Well, not right now because quarantine and lockdown, but theoretically, I could go to China and verify it for myself. The point is, proof is in the pudding. Verify proof. I can go and prove things. I could go to China. I can go to Africa. I can go where I want and prove that those places exist.
I have
cannot,
to go, guys.
however,
But I'm sure if you had millions of dollars to create your own rocket technology, you would try to go to space and get your own proof.
Guys, I have to go.
The point is, I can't do that.
Yeah, thanks
Exactly,
for
you
stopping
can't do
in.
that.
And I can prove that China
Thanks,
exists.
dude, for
That's the
coming.
point of what you're saying.
Thank you. Bye.
No space.
So if this is a hypothetical scenario. If you had millions of dollars to hire your own researchers to create a rocket, and so that you can send somebody or yourself to space to give you proof that it is round, will you believe them then, or will you still have skepticism?
No space.
I mean, if I physically was able to go there and I was able to see the proof and do the things that they're saying, and I saw what it was, and I saw the proof and I saw the evidence, then shit, yeah, I'll prove it. But that's never gonna happen. I'll believe it. Sorry.
Okay.
One thing I thought of to also answer your question would be something you can observe for yourself. And this does not say anything about that we exist on a flat Earth, but this does say that call into question the heliocentric model and does it match up with what we observe? And then, if you go from there, you can go any different direction from there. But anyway, so with the moon, you can look at it and with your naked eye, you can see Tycho crater. And I myself have never done the calculations, so forgive me for bringing it up without doing so. But from what I have heard others talk about, it is not supposed to be seen with the naked eye. So
Yeah,
sorry,
let me just
not
say-
trying to get off topic.
Sea Last, you said that So a lot of people in here, I'm sure you've talked to these guys. I had to step away to eat dinner for a second, so I wasn't on board when you walked into the conversation. But I'm sure
back.
you know
I
that.
just had to go get dinner.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, me too, dude. So anyways, they always say like you can't find curvature, which I agree. I've never seen curvature with my eyes. I've never measured it, but the thing with that is that there's a lot of video footage out there that shows curvature, but there's also a lot of video footage that doesn't show curvature. So which ones are we supposed to believe here? Which is kind of where I'm at. So I'm actually conducting my own personal experiment here in a couple months. I'm gonna get a weather balloon and launch it, and I'm gonna put a fisheye lens on it, and then I'm also gonna put a non-curved, non-fisheye lens, and we're gonna look up there and we're gonna see if we can find any curve. And I'm going to come back and present everybody with this what I find. And and everyone here is going to know it's not biased because I'm an independent researcher, and everyone here knows me pretty well. So I'm going to come back with some footage for everyone. So hopefully, maybe you'll get to hear that and we can see if we can find.
Personally,
until then, we'll take the proof and stuff that we've got. Sorry, I was just going to say, until then, we'll take the proof and the videos that we've got. So until Soda is able to do her things and we get her footage and we verify it and make sure that it's not been altered, what lens she's used and everything, then we'll take that on board. But until then, we take what we've got, the videos that we see.
Yeah, Dwayne Callum is great, Soda. You should really look into him. He's got a lot of great footage.
Yeah. So
also, I just want to say.
Sorry, Bambi.
Hold on, sorry, breaking down. I'm just gonna say to Helio, Helio, you still here? Because I think there's only 2 ladies in here that are participating in the Flat Earth conversation. We can open it up to the guys if you want.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Can I talk in a high-pitched voice to join in, please?
No,
hold on. Let me just go through all the men. Make sure they're all on mute. So men can jump in.
You need to put your hand up first, Planto.
Breaking down, what were you going to say about the weather balloon thing?
Yeah, so you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see proof of all them aeroplanes and buses and people in the swimming pools and bikes going along upside down on the globe.
Well,
But
hold on, guys. I was about to message, Bambi and Becky and say, if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and close out ladies'
Yeah,
night.
that's what I was saying.
And at the beginning of the next ladies' night, and I think this went well. I mean, we had some, we have a rocky start a lot of times, but dude, there's no reason for the guys. I mean, you ladies are killing it. There's no reason for us to have it, man. I love it. I love it.
And it's good to not be talked over and actually get our voice heard.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, I ain't gonna lie about it. But yeah, I mean, and you guys did a great job tonight. And as far as a lot of people don't know that we're doing this. It's kind of new, and so people jump in, and guys, will jump in and say, "Oh, like we normally do," but they don't know that it's ladies' night. But that's cool.
Yeah, that's
cool. I mean, but yeah, Friday afternoon. It's afternoon for me, but it's evening for you, Bambi. But yeah, man, I think it's going great, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy hearing the ladies.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
I just want to say a huge thank you to NDO for doing the live stream for us, and making a new separate one for Ladies' Night when it starts.
Shout out to
That was actually me. It's actually me. It's actually me that's doing it.
Oh, I didn't know if something else was involved. I wasn't privy to.
No, yeah, I do the live stream.
Yeah, did I say NDO? I meant your name. I get mixed up. Okay. I meant to say thank you. I'm sorry. I did that.
I don't care either way. Shout out to Indio for hosting the entire server. He's the boss.
Right. Yeah.
He's not even here, and I'm shouting out to him. But
no, he's probably
listening. So ungrateful. He
messaged me.
Say it.
Helio DM'd me and he's like, message me when you want it done, and I called him Indio again. So sorry, Indio, thank you to what you did, but Helio, you too.
They sound similar. That's fine.
No. Oh yeah. By the way, my brother, he doesn't. He like everything's science. Like, God isn't real because science that proves it's not real. So that's what he thinks.
All right. Well, stick around. I'm about to go ahead and end this live stream, and we're gonna do this again next Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time. I think it's 10 p.m. GMT.
Yeah.
And
GMT,
and so So
I'm EST.
Sure. Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean,
bro.
you know, you just whatever time it happens. You ladies were awesome. Thank you so much. And
Cheers, Helio.
You are so welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Listening.
Okay, yeah. Now that ladies' night is over, let me just ask, breaking down, what were you gonna say about the weather balloon thing?
Well, I was personally gonna say it would be a waste of money because it doesn't go high enough. It does not.
Oh, I'm gonna send it high enough.
You're watching.
You cannot control how high it goes.
Flat Earth Discord.
Could with an altimeter.
All
I was going to say, even Neil deGrasse Tyson says from